Okay. I'm a bit late. I'm sorry about that for everyone. I'm so sorry that I'm a little late. I'm 15 minutes late. I'm so sorry about that. Shit happens. Alright, let's get this party started. So today we're gonna learn how to draw today. I think last time I said we're gonna learn how to draw heads because I know that's something that's been a real common question for most people. I'm sorry that I'm a little bit late. I'm just 15 minutes late. I'm so sorry about that, guys. I had to deal with something, but okay, so let's just jump into it. So usually when drawing heads, it's really very simple. There's two ways of doing this, but I'm going to show you the most easiest way. So well, not easiest, but the most common thing. First thing, what you should always do when you're doing a drawing head, you always make a circle, like always. But remember, the head is not actually circular, okay? The head is we use the circle to make things much smoother to understand in this sense. But what's going to happen, we're going to cut this head in half like this with a circle. This is something called the Luminous Method. I think it's called Luminous. I always think I say it wrong, but it is what it is. You'll learn this a lot when you're doing a lot of anatomy, whether you're in school or not. This helps give you a sense of direction. So there's three ways of doing it. Step one, circle, or a circle. Step two, when you're making said circle, step two. When you make your circle, make sure when you make the circle, you make a circle inside said circle. And to make it easy to see it where that circle is, I'll use a different color. Hello, I am busy right now and I might be back later. Okay, Diamond, thank you. Thank you for letting me know. So we'll make a circle inside of the head itself. So that's something we need to keep in mind. Now, you can make two sides on it called, yeah, Luminous Method. I always say it wrong all the time. It is what it is, but it usually falls under that type of pronunciation. But those of you who are on TikTok and YouTube, thank you for coming in here, guys. And TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, thank you guys for coming in here. I really do appreciate it. Today we're just doing something really basic. We're trying to draw heads, so I'm gonna give you guys a sense of that. So usually when you use the method, you can draw one side of the head if you want one side, but sometimes people draw two inside of it just to give you a sense of direction. But I usually just go with one, especially if I'm doing like a 3/4 method, the 3/4 method or something like that, or I'm just trying to get a certain side. But right now we make a circle. Third, what happens next is there we go. Step 3 goes circle. Then we go with the circle inside of it. And then the third one, I'm going to use a different color. I'm going to use a purple, dark purple. Sorry I'm late. No, I'm actually late. I actually started really late. I really like your Luminous Method. Thank you, I appreciate it. Oh, thank you so much, kitty. So what's going to happen next is that the third thing in this method is that we're going to make a visor. Or a visor, or it's like it's a line that gives itself the direction instead of it just kind of guessing. In most cases, a lot of beginners tend to be taught in these stupid books where it's a circle and it's an X, and then you have to figure out the rest pretty much on your own, and it's not helpful. So what'll happen is that we're going to make a visor, and it has to connect inside. It must connect inside said circle. And I'm talking about this one. Alright? So, for this to work, it has to work in that sense. So, to make it more easier, I'm going to... Let me make another layer real quick. I'll start this over again so you guys can have a good understanding of this. Because a lot of you tend to fall into this trap of why does it look weird or janky or whatever it can be. So we're going to make a circle here. I'm going to do it again. Or you can use a perfect circle in the sense of using the polygon tool if it makes it easier on you. But I don't really recommend it because it's just too perfect, if that makes sense. More likes to track. Thank you for the likes. What did I miss? I just literally started. There's nothing to miss so far. So this is how you can do it. You can use the perfect circle, the line tool, the polygon method, and then what's going to happen, you can use another circle, so you can just make sense of it all, like this. Oops. I'm going to grab this, like that, just to give you guys a sense of direction. So I'm going to cut this off right here. Because what happens, you're cutting the cranium in half in that sense when you use this method, and it'll make sense. Now, I'm going to use the purple. So I'm going to bring down the opacity on this. So it brings opacity for most of it, but brings down opacity. And now I'm going to make the visor. Oops. Purple. Da-da-da. Oh, we're still on the Lasso Tool. Okay, there we go. Hi, can you do a video or a live about shadows in the face and how to contour your drawing, color your drawing? Yes, I will do that. Give me a few seconds here. So what happens is we'll make the line here, because what's going to happen is when you're making your visor, you're not going around the circle. What's going to happen is you're going to make a line inside this, and you're going to make a curve, because what happened, you're cutting the head in two. So like, not in two, but you're cutting the head in the places where it needs to be, so it has more of a squarish sense of direction, okay? It's gonna feel complicated at first for you, for those of you who are beginners, and I understand. So don't try to understand like right away. Just watch what I'm doing and it'll make sense to you, those of you who are here. But thank you guys for coming and asking questions and stuff. If you guys have any questions, please leave a question in the questionnaire, those of you on Instagram or TikTok. I'm streaming this to Instagram and TikTok right now. So you guys have both of best worlds there, and YouTube and Twitch right now as we speak. We're on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram all at once. So I'm just letting you guys know, so you can jump for whatever platform if you want to follow on either one. So anyway, we make the visor, right? Think of like Master Chief or something when I say visor, like from Halo or something, so it makes it easier to think of visor. So when the line goes through here, because remember the line, as I said before, it's a straight line inside here, and then it curves. It literally bends by curving, and then what happens is when you're done doing that, which is step 3, right? The visor will give us a sense of direction, like I said before. When you make a circle, let's just say we eliminate the luminous method inside the head, and I just literally did this. You will have a sense of more direction in that sense. Even you can do this with shadows. So for instance, like if I made a shadow right now, like this. Oops, I'm not the best. There we go. If I made a shadow right here, it gives you a sense of direction. You see how this line, like this line right here, is like a visor on its own. It gives you a sense of direction. Not only the light is coming from this point of view, it's coming from here, but it gives you a sense of direction that it's looking in this point, like the visor's pointing in this. Come on, stop it. Bad Lasso Tool, bad. Okay, so the visor is looking like it's going this direction in that sense, or if it makes it more 3D, like a circle, and then like that. Like it's going through that direction in that sense. So you gotta look out for that. That's what the visor's there to give you a sense of direction, right? Now from that point, when this happens, so circle, inner circle, visor, oh, fine, visor, and then that's when you make the line long, and then you take another line, depending on how you look at it. Oops. Like this. And then you put some shadow under here. And it gives you a sense of, oops, like this. We're looking from a bottom top view, so that's how we can see under the chin. Okay, okay, I see. Okay, have you read Chainsaw manga yet? No, I have not yet. I'm actually waiting for the anime, to be honest, because like the anime looks insane, but I should read the manga first. But then again, that might spoil some fun for me, so I'd rather not. So that's one way of looking at it when drawing a head. Now you might ask the question, what is the difference between male and female? Like, how do you spot the difference between a head and a female head? Well, the difference between a male and female head, which I mentioned last week, is that the difference is, oops, just to make sure so you guys have an understanding. The difference is that a male's head is more square and a woman's head is more rounder. Let me get rid of most of this now. We don't need this anymore. What's gonna happen is that what's the spot for is that a male's head is usually more square, more masculine in most cases. Not saying there's not men who have feminine traits or feminine like features, but that's not what we're getting into. We're just seeing the difference of that aspect right now, so you can at least distinguish the difference between the two. Now, the difference between the two is that when you're drawing the male's head, it's more square, and especially around the cheek line. Like for instance, if I were to draw like a very masculine character, the cheeks will be a lot more strong, elongated, more squarish in that sense. Let me just say this, for instance, I'm just using this as an example. It's not fairly accurate in what I'm saying, but I'm just giving you guys a sense of direction. So like, the head is like this, right? The chin is like this. The neck is very thick. The neck is thick and all that stuff. Always make sure of that. The neck is always thick. Gotta make sure of that. Think of like Johnny Bravo. He has a very thick neck. Those of you who are a 90s kid or know who Johnny Bravo is, I don't even think millennials know who that is these days anymore. But then again, that shows my age, but it is what it is. Like, they have more of a thick neck. And I always tell my students to always look out for when you're drawing necks, because they tend to draw the neck like a vase for both of the genders here. So like for instance, if you were to pull down, like they'll draw the neck like this, and they'll ask me, why does it look weird? Okay, and I keep preaching this a lot to my students, not to draw the neck like this. There is a way, and it's very subtle, but yet it's very important. Okay, so when you're drawing your neck, especially if it's a male or even if it's a female, that even counts too, that when you're drawing the neck, there is a break at the neck shoulder. Okay, so like we'll go down here, and then right here, when we're about to get to the shoulder itself, there is a break like this. It breaks, then goes into the shoulder. It like embeds itself into the shoulder itself. So like, let me use a better color. So we go straight down, break. See that break? I'm going to zoom in on this so you guys can see it even better. I want you guys to understand this and get this, because I know this usually throws them off a lot. And I understand why. It used to happen to me and wonder why the necks of my characters always look so strange, but everything else kind of looked normal in most cases. So what will happen is like, we'll go down, okay, and then there's a break. You see this right here? That's where the break is. Maybe not this close to where the neck is, but where I'm just using this as an example to give you exaggeration, but yet you must understand this, alright, for this class. So like, okay, so we'll break down, right? And then we pull the shoulder out like this, so it feels more real. And then if you're wondering what about the other side, to keep them equal to each other, you can always make a line from each other like this, so it makes it easier. Sometimes it's not that noticeable. You don't have to make it that noticeable to see the break. Sometimes the break is very subtle. It could be like a curve like this, but then again, to really indicate that it's there, you must make a distinction of that break. Okay, it could be a very small one depending on how masculine your character is. So like if your character is really masculine and he's really muscular, think of like Dragon Ball. Let me use Broly for example. Let me use Broly from Dragon Ball, whether it be from Super version or the movie version back in the day, back in the early 2000s or 90s. What happened would be the break would be they'll have giant traps. I think this is referred to traps, but I usually call it breaks so you guys know what I'm talking about. So like it'll be a giant thing like this, right? And then the shoulders will be like this. See how that works? Well, given this perspective will be more like this. And then it'll be like big traps like this. And then you have to make sense out of this, out of the neck, because usually if it's really muscular, there is this pull of the muscle here, especially if you're trying to make your character look very muscular. You know what I'm saying? Think of like Dragon Ball when Goku's in a fight with Frieza, when he was like really bloodied and stuff like that. You know, think about it that way, okay? So you'll see this break here. Always remember this, right here. Never ever draw your character, like I said before, never draw them like this. No, draw them like this. So you see the you can see the distinguishing features here. Never like this, break down. That's it. It's very subtle, and it's really easy to mess up, but this takes practice after a few times, okay? So just hold on with me on this and you'll understand it, and just practice a few times. And if you're wondering about female, which I'm going to draw a female right now, a female head, I'm going to use purple again. I don't know why I keep going to purple, but we're going to go with purple anyway. It's not even my favorite color, but we're going to go with it anyway. So I'm going to make a female's head, same angle, same everything, but the difference is when I'm drawing the female, especially if it's like anime, you can see the difference because the chin, depending on how soft you want your character to look, like this. Oops, oh yeah, and there's something I forgot to mention. When you're drawing your characters, be very careful on how you're drawing your head, because it can get really distorted if you're not being aware of this circle itself. So I always make the circles big in most cases. I have a question. I have an art question. If you were going to draw a character with a heart-shaped face, how would you go about going with like a heart shape, like Finn and Jake, like that heart guy with the face? Or is that like a form of metaphor of head? Like when you say heart shape, are you talking about the widow's peak like Vegeta, or are you talking about a literal heart face character? Like his face is literally looking like a heart. Name of app, Clip Studio Paint. So let me put it like this. Okay, like that. Then like this. Now the difference between the two is that the cheeks of the woman is usually puffed. The face is much more rounder, softer. It's not as strong, you know. It's never, well, it's not, most cases it's never strong, but I'm not saying there isn't masculine looking women. That does exist, but that usually comes from people who are usually either sometimes born that way, or either people who work out really much and then they tend to build testosterone. If they work out too long, they'll start growing muscle and having more like manular features. You might notice this, like a girl could be really petite, and then over time, if she keeps bodybuilding nearly every day, her breasts are going to fuse to her chest or something like that. Not fuse, but I think the right fuse, because remember, breast is just fat, so the breast will just literally like I won't say the word contract, but it will look like it will pretty much fuse to her chest, pretty much, even though it's part of her chest. So she'll look more muscular in most cases, and sometimes their voice will even deepen in most situations like this. Hello son. How do you get a girl face right? Well, first thing you need to understand when building one, like I'm doing right now, as a very rough demonstration of this, and then when you really want to get right with the accuracy of it, then you can start doing the line method, where you make sure the lines are here, and you make sure that this is in this box, and then you start making sure this is the eyebrows here, like this one. Like if I were to use red, like this, make sure that the visor is like this, and then you start using methods to make sure the eyes are usually in line with each other in most cases. And you have to make sure that everything's always in line with each other, even if you have a character that's turning with their neck. Like I know students do this thing where when they draw the eye, especially beginners, they'll make the eye really huge on one side and make the other one very distorted on the other. So like, for instance, they'll draw, ooh, hello purple. Do you do YouTube tutorials? Yes, I do. I haven't done them in a while, but I do them. I do make some here on TikTok, and I'll be going back to making more of tutorials on YouTube once we get to 1,000. We're at 700 and I think 54 in subs. So if you guys want to help and get tutorials from me in that sense, please follow the YouTube, because you're going to benefit from that very soon, because we're about to get to 1,000. We need 200 more people, pretty much, or probably a little less than that, but we need 200 more people, and then we'll get to 1,000, and I'll be definitely making a bunch of YouTube videos, not only just tutorials on how to draw, but maybe tutorials on animation. I'm still learning how to do animation, so if you're wondering if I'm an animator or anything, not yet. It's something I'm working on myself. I'm trying to figure out the kinks of that, especially on this program. So like, if you're an inspiring artist or an inspiring animator, I got your back. I'm going to try and make some tutorials on how to do it on Clip Studio Paint. I also have people ask me to do reviews on the software of different softwares and stuff like that, so I may do that too, to give you my input on that and what is more beginner friendly, what's more advanced, what's more easier to deal with, and what's one's a little bit more difficult to work with depending on situations. But I need to have a better understanding of the animation gears and stuff like that, so we'll get to that. Can I join? Hello. Yes, you should. You sound like Deku. Thank you. I don't know, I sound like a human puppy, so I guess that's a good thing, I think. But, ooh, hello Diamond. Okay, so Procreate is easiest. Yes, I also heard that Procreate is easiest for most beginners. I think it has built-in like capabilities to make it much more easier to do animation, but I'm not sure. I never used it, so I can't vouch for it too much, but then again, I've heard good things. Like I say, I didn't, so there you go. But I hope you guys are having an awesome day. I'm glad you guys are asking such lovely questions. I hope what I'm doing is helpful to you, those of you who are just stumbling onto my channel. Just like I said before, if you want to learn from me, just check out my social media. We're on TikTok, Twitch, YouTube. We're streaming right now to TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram all at the same time right now. And also I have a course that is open right now for you guys to try out. It's on my Gumroad. If you don't know how to access it, you just go to my Instagram and you hit my link tree, and it'll be right there. It'll say Architecturist Gumroad, and it'll take you straight to the product. So what this anatomy, 5 factors on anatomy, this course, it is, I think, a hour or 2 course explaining anatomy and in depth. So we're gonna draw this character from this point to this point, and it's gonna leave. We're not gonna make any clothing or anything, because I need for you guys to understand the fundamentals of these. So if you're wondering if it's one big video, no, it's snippets of different videos that leads up to like an hour or 2. So I try to make it as condensed as possible, but yet almost easy to understand. So if you guys want to try it out, you can. It is $15 to rent for 72 to 30 days, or $60 if you want the full thing, But if you want a discount of that, the first 100 people who use my link in description, but the link, it is Ultra, like plus Ultra. So like it's spelled Ultra. Like Ultra. It's literally, that's how it's spelled. And no, it's no capitals. You can leave it in lowercase. All of them in lowercase, so you don't have to. But I hope that will be helpful. So give me your feedback if it was crappy, it was helpful, or a case may be if you guys decide to buy it, or a case may be. So I hope you guys like that. So tell me about it. Tell me if it sucked. Tell me it was good. Tell me it was great. Tell me it was okay. Tell me what I could have did better there, or a case may be for the next course, because I'm gonna make more courses like this, more in depth compared to YouTube. So just to answer a question, someone asked me, what is the difference between your YouTube videos and that course? The difference between the YouTube is usually very general and not fully detailed, but the other one is completely detailed to the point that I'm just keep talking. Like, I just keep talking because I'm giving you nothing but information, and countless information that you have to go back a few times to take it in. So I'm not just saying, okay, make a head like this, like I'm doing now. This is very general what I'm doing. What I do in the course is tell you every little thing I'm doing, so there's no question of, I don't know where I went wrong. Because I know how that feels when you're like watching a tutorial in most cases. Like they'll be like, let's do a head, and then we'll put the luminous circle in, and the next thing you know, they made a whole masterpiece at like the third step, and you're like, what the hell happened? I've seen that happen many times, and you guys might know what I'm talking about. You'll literally start with a circle. They'll say, okay, you make a line of circle, and next thing you know, it looks like Inuyasha from the show Inuyasha, or it looks like Naruto all of a sudden, and you're like, wait, we was just at step 3, what happened? So I know how that feels. So that's what literally that is. And yes, I do have videos that's up there on YouTube that talks about heads, but I'll make more updated videos on that, so don't worry. If the video seems too old or too long, or a case may be, the video will have, I will update them again. So I have a video that's very popular on how to draw plus size women, and which is something I have done. I will give you my explanation on that too. How to draw plus size women compared to skinny women. I use female Gogeta on this. I use Zarya from Overwatch. I break it down in analysis to give you guys an understanding what to look for, how to make them stay slim, stay lean, stay muscular, and stay plus size. So if you want to draw your plus size characters for Tumblr or whatever the case may be, I'm your guy. I'll teach you how to do that and how to keep them pretty consistent in most cases, because I really focus on like character design and stuff like that. So but yeah, that's pretty much it. Sorry I had to go on that whole rant about explaining that, but I may have to do that later on for newcomers who are coming in. But yo, hello June. I was Junebox. You sis here? No, she's not here today. She's too busy doing her own thing. She's in her room doing her thing. She'll be in here in a little bit though. I will let her know. Anyway, so we're drawing heads and all that stuff. Now, someone asked me a question. I think they was asking about shading. Now, shading is a funny thing. Like, especially when you're shading like the body or the head or something like that. Let's just use, for example, let's use like a shading red. I know not the best understanding of this, but we'll see if we can make this work. So I'm going to take the shade. Oops. I'm going to shade these in a sense to make sense of it. So I'm going to turn this down a little, and I'm going to shade them. So what's going to happen is, like, depending on the direction you're going, can help you even draw heads in this way too. So don't be discouraged on shading, because shading can help you. It can teach you like negative space and positive space. Thank you. That's what I'm after being able to understand it too. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. So what's going to happen is this. I'm going to make the head. I'm going to go along with the contour of the body of the head right here, right? And I'm going to do this. What happens is using the Luminous Method or just using shading can give you a better information on how to draw like the head, or have a good understanding of what the head can do. So like I'm going to go straight down like this, like this, like this, like this, this, and then like this, like this, like that. So what this just did is give you a sense of where the shading's coming from, how it's coming from, why is it doing its doing, and then it will give you a sense of direction in the sense of how the head is not even constructed, but how to read the head better when using shading. So even though I didn't put no nose, no eyes, no dent in the head or anything, you can actually take away the lines itself, and then what's going to happen is that the shading can give you a sense of this. So like if I wanted to draw the head even more, I could use just shading alone, like this.
Featuring Baby Keem.
Okay.
Rod Wave.
And then,
Sleepy Hollow.
like it's easy to do this if you use like shadow shapes and stuff like that. It does teach you how to do this easier in that sense. But if that's too hard or too far gone in itself, you can always, we can't see. Oh, sorry about that. So thank you for letting me know. I'm so sorry. Sometimes it moves and I can't, like it does that on its own. So like, oops. Hey, turn back on. Sorry about that. So like, let me use an example that I have. I have usually something of a backup in a sense so you guys can have a better understanding where I'm coming from with this. Let me use one of my old stuff that I used to use. Now, this is something I made for Instagram a long time ago. It's still useful up to this day. So like head shapes and stuff like this, like head looking forward, looking this way, you can always find it by using the way I make heads look 3D, I usually use a ellipse line. So what is an ellipse line? A ellipse line is basically a line that goes along the contour of your shape. So what does that mean, if you don't know what that means? That literally means if I make a circle, like I did before, like the visor, or maybe let's not even use a circle. We can use a very weird shape, like this. Right? How do I make this look 3D? So the best way I draw on drawing tablet using Curta, and I just can't draw good realistic face. Well, to understand the realistic face, there's 3 things I always mention to my students. You must understand shape. Oops, I want you to see this. You must understand shape. Put it there. Okay. You must understand shape, form, and then you have to understand Hey, come on, load with me. Okay, you understand gesture. I always use this, and you should always go in this particular order. I don't think you should ignore this order, and the reason why I say go this order, because it will help you better than it helped me. I have to figure this out on my own. I didn't go to no fancy schmancy school. I didn't go for college for this. I learned this all on my own by using the internet. But shape, form, gesture, and then you do perspective. And then the next and last one is proportions. Now you must ask me proportions. So like the reason why most people will say, wait, Artextras, why am I doing proportions last when that's pretty important? The reason why I don't do proportions first is very clear. I have seen students do this thing where they'll get their shape right and their form, or just have a basic understanding of shape. Not really formal that much, but then again, they can kind of get away with it. What will happen is they'll do the shapes, and then they'll try to do the proportions, and what happens, they'll have like this robotic, like this stiff looking character, and they'll look really strange. Like everything's probably as an exaggeration. Everything will be anatomically correct in that sense, but after a while you kind of feel this sense of roboticness. It doesn't feel right. It feels strange. It feels like there's no sense of fluidity in the movement and or character. Just in them doing basic things will feel too robotic. There's no sense of weight. It's just everything's kind of stiff. You don't understand where I'm coming from with this. I'm very sure some of you may know what I'm talking about. Me the whole time. Write that down. Yeah, you should write this down. But then again, if you don't want to write this down, you can always refer back to this on YouTube. This is on YouTube live, so like if you want to run back to this, you can always rewatch this. I took your years of AP art, and I took 4 years of AP art school, and I'm digital, but the one thing I struggle with is contour. Is this for how to draw? Yes, and anything in general. That's for anything in general, but I do specialize in anime drawing, but I'm trying to keep it quite diverse for everyone who is trying to just do drawings in general, because I get a bunch of people who don't do anime, and I have to be cognizant of that. I can't just look at it as a anime class, because not everyone's walking in to learn how to do anime or just don't watch anime. So I have to look at it in a sense like a Dexter's Lab type person, a Samurai Jack type person, a Family Guy type person who likes to draw like that, or Tumblr, or what the case may be. So like this is something very general, but yet it's enough to understand. What y'all doing? So I'm teaching the class that walks in, anyone that walks in and wants to learn how to draw. This is what you need to learn first. Learn your shapes, forms, that's one. Then you learn your gestures. Then you learn your perspectives. And fourth, then you learn your proportions. Fifth, you should literally go with color theory. Should be your last one. Theory. So what happens is with color theory, most cases, don't go with color. The big, which is hue, which a lot of students tend to jump in because they think, okay, I got a good understanding of shape, I can make some decent gestures, I understand perspective to a good degree, and proportions are not that off, so I'm gonna go to coloring. Or sometimes they'll skip all this and go straight to coloring because this is the best nice thing to learn, which I can understand how that happens, and that can happen, and that's not wrong. There's no wrong in doing that. But I need to let you know that if you do jump into color theory, do not jump in color theory with actual hues like reds, blues, yellows, greens. Don't do that. When you jump into color theory, what will happen is that you need to learn your whites / blacks and grays. So what I'm saying is this: learn your light. When I'm saying your whites, I mean your tints, your blacks, tones. No. Your blacks is your shades. Sorry, shades. And then your grays is your tones. So what is the difference between them? They're all pretty much the same. A tone for gray is pretty much the in between of dark and white, like just gray, but the toning of the color that transitions to black or to white. Okay, it's like literally the gateway of between black and white, the very thing that's in between that makes it easy to conjure. Can I skip learning? If you're trying to make characters, no, because if you skip anatomy, you're going to make a bunch of mistakes. And even if, let's just say, you don't learn, and when I say learn anatomy, I'm not talking about learn the epidermis and all that stuff and these very useless names that you don't need to know. It's very specific if you want to learn them, fine. But I do not recommend anyone to just learn all these different medical terms just for the sake that I learn anatomy. Unless you're a doctor, then that's important. But if you're just an artist, it's not important. What you're supposed to do with what anatomy is supposed to teach you is to break down the body as simple as possible in your head in the most effective way possible, so you don't overthink it. So I'm trying to do anime, but with semi-realistic features, and I'm trying to add that with coloring. I'm just struggling. Don't worry, I'm here. I draw cartoon and realistic. That's fine. If you do cartoon, if you do realistic, semi-realistic, or anime, all this applies. This will not go against you. So if you're into anime, or if you're into, say, like Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls, the classics type shows that used to come on in the early 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, or mid 2000s, you're fine. This will still apply. You need to learn these things to so don't worry. this will apply. So like I said, your tints, your shades, and your tones. These are important to know, because if you're doing color theory, you must understand your, pretty much ultimately, all these terms I'm saying, tints, tones, ultimately means grayscale. Gray, oh, spell gray. It's grayscale, scale, okay, grayscale. So grayscale is the understanding of shadows and light, okay? Because if you can understand your shadows, your lights, your tints, your tones, which are all the same thing. So when I say tones, I'm talking about your grays. If I say shades, I'm talking about literally the shade, like the blacks, and then whites, tints, okay? So when I make these terms, that's all that means. Just their whites, your grays, and tone, and if I say blacks, shades. So like, if anyone has a piece of paper right now, write this down, write this on your phone, or where it case may be. So when, let's just say you're watching a YouTube video right now of not me or someone else, usually more highly professional or educated than I am in this sense, they will use these terms. You will hear these terms. These terms will not go away. You will hear this a lot, especially from professionals. If you want to make good illustrations, you will hear these terms. Do you have a place to put them in order? Like, do you have to place them in order? No, because see, the funny thing about, well, if you're talking about the anatomy part, yes, I say shapes, forms, gesture, perspective, proportions last, and then color theory after. The reason why I say this is because I want my students to understand shapes and contouring. Okay, like shapes is like pretty much like, say your shapes is your squares, your circles, your triangles, and pretty much your rhombuses, or whatever case may be, or your diamonds, or whatever case may be, right? But your forms is your cubes. Like when I say the word form, it usually means a 3D shape. So your prisms, your spheres, your cubes, your 3D rhombuses, and your cylinders. I think if anyone is gonna ask me what are the best shapes to work with first, the three best shapes that you should focus on when doing shapes and forms when you're at the forms level, because shape is pretty much easy for anyone to understand, but that's just more of a proportionate type of thing, just making sure everything's kind of like straight and to the point, right, with your squares and stuff. But when it comes to forms, please understand, this is understanding of 3D shape. So when you have a good understanding of form, you move to gesture, okay? Gesture is the fluidity of a subject, okay? That's what gesture is. I am gesturing to you. I am saying hi to you. Think of the Japanese when they're saying hi to people for the very first time in a formal way. They say hi. And not only that they say hi, they bend down and like greet you with ease and please. So the gesture has to feel not stiff, because even though they do it a lot, it doesn't feel, it's so repetitive to them doing it that it comes off very fluently. So they do it really fast, but yet they can do it with ease, okay? So this is what hey crazy, crazy in the house, people. This is what gesture means. So like, let's just even ignore the Japanese part of it. Let's just say you're saying hi to someone, or you're saying hi to your neighbor. You won't say you're not gonna anatomically draw your character like this, like boop, boop, like hi, like this. You don't want this. You don't want your character to look like that. That's one thing you do not want your character to look like that. You want your character to, take their body, curve their neck, put their hand up, have a sense of weight and direction when they're saying hi to said individual. You want them to have a sense of flow. Think of flow. You want them to feel very natural looking, You don't want something to feel robotic. That's one thing you don't want. Because this is why I say never worry about proportions first. Do not worry about it. Do not worry about proportions right now if you're a beginner. Worry about just getting the fluidity and the understanding concept of drawing said positions, said figure. That's why in figure drawing in schools, they'll teach you how to draw figure drawings as fast as possible and try to do it as fast as possible and move to the next one. So they'll give you like, say, 5 minutes. They'll give you like, if you're brand new, they'll give you about 5 to 8 minutes, and then after a few times of doing this, and I guess a few days and weeks, they'll go from 5 minutes to probably 3 to like say 1 to 30 seconds. So you must draw the character within 30 seconds. And the point is not trying to be accurate. The point is trying to be as fluid as possible in the drawing, and the accuracy comes after. But the first thing that comes first is just trying to nail the idea of it, and then whatever comes after that is proportions. Okay, so after a while of doing this, your brain will get more used to making shapes, making more. See, what they're trying to teach you in school in that sense is give you confidence in your forms, your shapes, and your gestures, and I guess your perspective. That does matter, but they're not going to give you like, I don't think in school they're going to give you like a big three-quarter down type stuff. They usually give you something straight ahead with someone posing like they're about to throw a ball, they're about to hit a bat or something like that, most cases. But they're not going to give you something so insane to the point that you can't draw it. They'll give you something a little bit difficult, but they're not going to totally like obliterate you with something that you can't draw, especially if you're a beginner. Some teachers will be a little more harsher than others. I know that for a fact, because I never took it. Like, I didn't go to school for art, but I did have to take an art class for a what's an elective, for like a liberals art elective, which I did not want to do, but I had to do, and they made us do that. So that's one way of learning like figure drawing and all that stuff. It's very important. You can actually teach yourself to do this at home right now. You can go on YouTube right now and type in figure drawing 30 seconds, and they'll give you about, I think, 30 or 20 pictures of people standing in a very fluidic pose. Nothing too static, something very like fluidive, and then you can have fun with, something you can learn from, and they give you a time signature. You can time yourself if you like and see how well you can do it. The faster you can get it and the faster your brain can read it, the easier it is to draw. So if I ask you to draw, say like the brain does this, it compares the situation more than others. So like for instance, if you were to draw a square like this is a terrible position. If you were to draw a square like this, it seems easy peasy, right? But if I were to ask you to draw like a literal, let me say like a, let me think, like a serious anime eye or something like that, like this, but like with detail and a nose and then like some cheek lines and stuff like that, and keep it accurate and fun. This seems more easier to understand, but it's just say you couldn't draw this and this was really hard for you. You see this as hard. Like, this is hard, I can't draw this, right? But like if I were to give you something compared to this and I say, okay, that might seem hard, so let me give you something easier. So I'll say like, just draw, I don't know, like a nose, an anime nose, like this, or sometimes the anime nose can be like very distinctive, like this. It can come to all different forms depending on who you're asking and stuff like that. Let's just use that example. I'm using this as an example. I'm not saying that this is hard, but then again, I'm using it as an example. And then you're gonna say, okay, that's easier compared to drawing a whole face, eyes, shading, and all that stuff, and wrinkles, and what to look for, blah, 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 and nose, and blah, 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 but I gave you just nose. Now your brain has made a distinction of what's more harder and what's not. So what's happening is that your brain's gonna say, okay, I can draw a nose a little bit more fast, especially an anime nose, so you're not really getting detail with it. But then again, you want to teach your students to do the things that are a little more difficult for them. So never draw things that you're comfortable with. Draw things that you have trouble drawing. Because if you draw the things that you have trouble drawing, you're going to get better at the things you can draw already. Especially when it's something really specialized in, okay? Hey, sup, I'm back. Okay, well, Ben, I love this. Thank you. wow, 39 people. We're getting some. Yes, we're getting momentum. I'm trying to keep that up. I'm not trying to, you know, waste time and stuff like that. So I'm really trying to keep the teaching going. So like, you need to distinguish the two problematic problems here. So like, your brain will always try to distinguish the most easiest road because that's what the brain does. It's not evil for doing that. It's just expected to look for the best road for you to take so you don't have to struggle, or because the brain is designed to protect us in any which way. So anything that seems easy, the brain will go down that road by default. If it's hard, but yet can be managed, the brain won't mind too much, but then again, it will still try to look for the easiest road. It is what it is. We all do it. We did it as kids, we did it as teens, we do it as adults. We're going to do it to the day we die. It's normal. That's normal. So don't think you're off about that. While find your art style. Now, the idea of art style. Art, I'm going to make this really specific to my students. And Crazy has her hair said this to me because he's a recurring student in my classes. Art style. What is an art style? Art style is pretty much a style that is distinguished to an artist who draws in a specific way tailored to them. Now, how do you find it? You do not find a art style. The reason why, and I think this term is very it's wrong and it's weird, because oh wait, I just saw your your message, Nicholas. I'll get to you in 2 seconds. Don't worry, bro, I heard you. I just read that just now. I'll get to you in 2 seconds. Now, art style is not something that can be found. Art style is ultimately, and this usually blows most of my students' brains, those of you who are usually new, but art style is a handwriting. Now, what does this mean? Spell that wrong. Go back. Writing. So what does this mean? Now, imagine back to school. I don't know how old most of you are. Maybe they still do it in school. I'm 26, so I'm old, depending on who's sitting here and who's listening to this. But like, in school, from kindergarten, when I was in school, from kindergarten all the way to I think about 4th or 3rd grade, they had books called handwriting books. What this was is teaching you how to draw in cursive, ultimately. And then those of you who may know, you know those cursive books where they have like an A like this, and then you have several A's like this, and you have to do it over and over again to fill up the whole book in the book itself. Those of you might know what I'm talking about. That is repetitive drawing, right? Repetitive. Well, you're repetitively drawing words, and like you do it with letters anyway. You don't have to be cursive, but you can, like, everyone has a distinct, like, handwriting, right? So after a while of drawing, let's just say heads. Let's say you keep drawing heads the way I taught you, but your hands are designed differently from mine. Whether you have experience or not, your head is going to look different from mine. Even if it looks super similar, it's going to be different from my default. By default, it is what it is. I draw Teen Titans art in my art style. That's something special to me. Alright, so like, you can use that as a form, because remember, art style can be copied, but yet it distinguishes a person's drawing ability based on how well they're, wait, is this thing cut off? How well they understand said product, said, not product, but said subject, okay? So like, let's just say you're very good at drawing eyes. I specialize in drawing anime eyes a lot, so it's something I can really like do within a fly. So I have a distinctive way of how I draw eyes, right? So like, there's a way how I draw eyes. Someone can draw the same eye I just drew, but look different from mine. It could look similar, but it's never the same, right? So what an art style is repetitive drawing of a particular subject or a particular genre of somewhere. And then, or even, it doesn't have to be a genre you kind of like draw every day, or a genre that you're always in. If I ask you right now to draw a cow, which I don't think most people are drawing cows out here, but let's just say you draw a cow. You maybe have a good idea how to draw it based on your experience of drawing other things. So you're going to apply what you can draw with other things towards that cow, and the cow may not look totally accurate because it's not something you're usually drawing, but because you're drawing said cow and you have a good understanding of shape and form, it's going to look like a cow, but it's going to look like a cow in your own way. Does that make sense? Please let me know if that makes sense to you. Yeah, like when I draw Teen Titans art, it's normal. See, it's normal because it's something you're repetitive at drawing. You don't find one. This is why I give you guys general information like this, because I want you guys to understand the generalness of shape, form, gesture, and then we go to perspective. I spelled that wrong, but I don't care right now. Perspective, and then proportion. Okay. Once you master this, if you can master this, you can pretty much build an art style right now. If you can master these in your sleep, like a second nature, you can have an art style. This will lead to ultimately to your art style. So that's how you find it. You can copy an art style in a sense, like say, like what Ben said. He draws a bunch of Teen Titans art style, so he has an understanding of it, but it's never going to be the same as the Teen Titans art style from the originals. Okay, does that make sense? People can have, I made my style, like people can have similar art styles and you can make something totally different, like something like you know what really capitalizes on this is the draw this in your style challenges. Okay, ever heard the saying, we live in the same building but we have different views? Ever heard that saying? That's what that is. So if I were to look at, say, like, let's just say Naruto, for instance, or let's not even use Naruto, let's use that. Let's say I'll use Peter Griffin. I know everyone who that is. So let's say I was to draw Peter Griffin in draw this brown style. My Peter Griffin's gonna look different from yours. We're gonna try as best as I can to be as accurate as possible with the character, with his characteristics, but we're going to draw him in the way that we see Peter based on how we draw. Does that make sense? Okay, thank you for that perspective. Thank you. I appreciate it. I spelled that wrong. Thank you, Limits. I thank you. What if my style constantly changes? Does that mean yes, that means you're improving. Perfect example of this. Look at those of you who are probably Naruto, Hunter x Hunter fans. Look at Yu Yu Hakusho. Oh, Yu Yu Hakusho. Thanks, Battle. You look at Yu Yu Hakusho and look at Hunter x Hunter, or better yet, I don't know if they saw Hunter, but I think it's Hunter x Hunter. I think that's the real pronunciation. Hunter x Hunter. There is a drastic difference between the Yu Yu Hakusho show back in the early 90s, or I think in the 80s, but early 90s. I think it was in the 80s. But look at Hunter x Hunter when it came out in the late 90s, back when it was playing, and then look at it in 2011 version. There's a significant difference. And look at, let's say, One Piece. Let's use One Piece for example. Look at One Piece from episode 1, and look at One Piece at episode 1000. There's a drastic difference between the two. Oh yeah, how about symmetry? Will I get good? Yes, you will get good at it, because what happens is your brain tends to, by science, your brain tends to correct things that doesn't make it right to you. Like, let's say for instance, you ever talk to someone that you know for a while, and then you can tell by the way they're responding, based on how they talk, their tone and everything, and the subject, you can tell something's either off or something's normal about them. It's like a sixth sense type of thing. Does that make sense? So it's like that. After repeatedly talking to this person, repeatedly interacting with this person, after repeatedly knowing who that person is, you have an understanding of who they are as a person on subjects that they are not comfortable with, things that they're comfortable with, things that they're indifferent to. Just like if you were to draw, let's just say, Raven from Teen Titans every single day. every single day, you know how Raven looks from front, back, sideways, and everything. If you can draw a character over and 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 over again, you can tell something's off about your character, especially if you design them. Does that make sense?
What's that?
What's that?
Rice and chicken.
Oh, I'm not gonna eat anything.
You like it?
No. Chrissy's here, everybody. Say hello, because everyone was asking for you anyway. What is the base from the head and body?
The neck?
What?
What's the base from the head and neck? Head and body.
I like Yu Yu Hakusho, yes. Like, what is the base from of a head and body?
A cylinder?
The base is from the head. It's a cylinder.
You do whatever it is.
It's pretty much a cylinder. The neck, if you're referring to, is literally the cylinder, because the head can be seen as a square.
Your voice can reach as broad.
Depending on how you look at it, you can actually draw a head as a square, which I was going to teach you guys, but I sometimes have difficulty doing this myself because I'm so used to doing the Luminous Method. But like, you can actually be more accurate with the square than the Luminous Method, because the square gives you a sense of perspective. And then with the neck is a cylinder, if you think about it. Like, I think even the stomach is a cylinder, the arms are cylinders, like most of the body is cylinders. That's why I say learn with squares, well, cubes, circles, or cylinders, and I mean, yeah, cylinders, and no, did I say cylinders? Yeah, cylinders. Cylinders is this. And spheres. I mean spheres. I'm saying the wrong thing. Spheres. Hizuka Myers. I like that name. Or
oh my God.
how to draw a face and body, or how to draw a face and body. Usually how to draw a face and body, you have to use the Luminous Method, or you can use the square method. I try to avoid using the square method because, well, I'm still working on perspective myself, so I'm not gonna call like I know every little thing, but I'm going to at least be honest with you guys. I have a hard time with perspective
in
cases.
If you want a full length understanding of bodies and anatomy.
Yes,
right?
which I mentioned, because if you guys want to learn that and understand, like they said, what's the base between the head and the thing? It's usually a cylinder of the neck. Like, you can learn it from this this course. So like, if you were willing to pay the 60 or 15, if 60 is too much, that's fine. There's $15 to rent it for 30 days and see if you like it, or 72 days if you want. But that's only for those who want to or really need that knowledge or that understanding. This feels illegal that this is free. Well, yes and no in a sense, but then again, it benefits, I guess, me, and it benefits you guys at the same time, because this is something you will have to pay for most cases. But because you guys give follows and you give great questions and stuff, this keeps me on my toes and keeps me refreshed on my teaching methods. So when I get back to making YouTube videos, not only that, this will be easier, more condensed and to the point, but yet it'll give me more confidence on making my YouTube videos without thinking too hard into it, because I was very nervous doing this. But after doing this several times live, this gives me more sense of understanding of this. Oh wow, oh, I will definitely check it out. Thank you. If you guys don't know where to find it, those of you who are interested, you go to my Instagram here, or you can go to the TikTok, those of you already on TikTok, and click on the link tree. Once you click on the link tree, you'll see something that says Architecture's Gumroad. You click on it and it'll send you straight to here, usually. Or if you don't interested in that, if you want commissions from me, if you like commissions or you're looking for commission, I have commission here, work here. You guys want to check it out. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch. What?
What about coloring? I heard I said waga instead of what about everything.
You're reading. And then we got Redbubble. I do mention Patreon, but I'm not focusing on that too much, so you guys don't have to join that at all till we get to 1,000 on YouTube. I won't be focusing on that till we get to 1,000. But to answer your question, what about coloring? I want to start coloring my drawings, but I don't know where to start. And I was just saying this earlier to my students just now. To get good at coloring, you must understand grayscale. So just before I get to the grayscale thing again, to those of you who are struggling, first, learn your shapes, then learn your gestures, second, learn your perspectives, third, fourth, and final, learn your proportions. Once you have a good understanding of placing your characters and know how to put them in any position you want by using these four things and understanding them, you can move on to the next thing, or you can literally skip this completely and go straight to coloring, which I said earlier. Coloring. You can go to coloring next if you want to do that, because there's a lot of people who make careers without drawing a single person and do a bunch of coloring. There's colorists, there's people who makes money by doing coloring backgrounds, coloring characters. That is a thing. That's a person called a colorist. So if drawing characters is just not for you and you figure out it's not for you, that's fine. That's nothing make you less of an artist. Like art, coloring is still a difficult task to understand, especially in how it behaves and stuff like that. So don't feel less than of anyone else who can draw like a head, an arm, a hand. They can draw a hand and stuff, but they can't color for the life of them. It is what it is. I used to feel that way myself. Artectress, I'm going to send you 18 Titans art as a token of my gratitude. No, thank you. I appreciate it. I would love to see it. Artectress, I will send you. I would love to see that. Thank you, Ben. How do I learn grayscale? I don't really care about coloring. I like gray stuff more. So to understand grayscale, ultimately you need to just learn. The reason why I love grayscale and why I came to love grayscale more is that it limits you on coloring. So grayscale, oops, I keep doing that.
What tablet do you use?
I use a XP pen. If you don't know what that is, like I said, I refer back to my Instagram. You can go to my Instagram and you see this picture right here. Sorry, I missed that. If those of you who may have Instagram, I don't know if you guys all you do or you don't, but if you go to my Instagram right here, where this little picture of the Clip Studio Paint logo is, right here.
No, scroll down. I can't see the messages.
I can't. Like right here. Oh. Okay, how do you draw a girl shoulder? Okay, I'll show you that in a second. But right here, when you click here, it will take you to the items that I use for teaching, streaming, and stuff like that. So if you want to know the stuff I use, it's right here. It'll take you straight to Amazon or so. If you're wondering, there are 2 versions of Clip Studio Paint. There's actually 3. The free version is a trial version, but you won't get all the cool stuff. The one I have is Paint Pro. It's the best version out of the 2, I think, because not only that it's the cheapest one, but what makes Clip Studio Paint very attractive is that it's a pay one and done. There's no subscription. You can choose to do a subscription if you want, if you don't have the money, or if you really want to try it out, you can get the subscription to use its product. But if you just want to own the whole thing without no more subscriptions, you can just buy it once and done. The Pro version is the cheapest one out of the EX version. If you want to know what's the difference between the EX version is focusing on comic books. The other one refers to illustration, but comic books and animation, and illustration and animation. But the animation one for the Pro version, which I have, only focus on 30 frames per second, and the EX one goes 60 frames per second. So if you want that smooth, buttery animation, if that's something that you're looking for, you can always try that. So you can always look at these that I recommend to students, and they go from cheapest to expensive in genre. So if you're wondering one's the most expensive, the last one is usually the most expensive. And the one I have is literally this one. So if you guys are wondering, it's this one. It's the Artist Pro Drawing Pen Display 21.5-inch graphics monitor, and it comes with one specific pen, so you can't just buy a random pen. You have to get the pen with this tablet or buy it from them. So how do you shade? So the understanding of shading.
Yeah, do the shoulders as well.
And the shoulders.
Mix them together.
Okay. I'm gonna answer two questions and go to the shoulder one after, so everyone's questions are answered. So let me just get to that part. Okay, so for grayscale, which will answer your shading question, yes, I want one. Actually, which one do you use? I want to try. The one I use is called X-Pen right here. Just want to show you real quick so I can just get that response. It's right here. You can find it on my Instagram, on my stories, and it'll take you straight there. You click it, and it'll take you straight to Amazon. Easy, and it'll tell you the price and everything if it's something that suits your fancy. I put everything here from streaming, the headphones, and stuff like that, so you want to check that out, you can. But anyway, so answer your question with grayscale. Grayscale is ultimately the scale. What this ultimately means is the mixture of your tints, tints, your tones, and your shades. Okay, so what are these things? This usually means to whites, grays, and your blacks. Okay, so your tones is the ultimate transition between your whites and your blacks. So what will happen is, to make that buttery, that nice looking transition between that semi-realistic, or you just want to do shading in that sense, like I'll use you an example. Here's one thing you should always know when you're doing shading, you should never go full black. Never go full black. This is not full black. This is full black. You can see a difference between the two. Okay? Now, your grays should be like this. Okay? And then your whites is pretty much this. I don't even need to draw it, I just have to outline it. I don't need to draw it, I just need to outline it so you guys can see the outline right there. Okay? I hope that answers your question. How do you use a girl? How do you draw a girl's shoulder? A girl's shoulder is usually very soft. I'm gonna answer that question again with the grayscale. I want to go more in depth in that, but like before I do that, real quick, a girl's shoulder is really easy. What happens is the girl's shoulder will curve. Oops. Oh, it's still on the. The girl's shoulder will curve softly. Most cases. Males, I'm gonna make another
extreme box.
So the shoulder of a female will go curve, break, and then like that. That's usually a female's neck. A male's neck is like this. You see the difference? There is a break. Remember, I mentioned this before to some of you who are still here. There is a break here. This is a female, and this is a male. A male's is more square and more hard shaped. Most cases. Even if it's a teenage boy to a grown man. Like, it could be even more refined more than this that I'm showing, but I'm just saying example. Like, if I were to draw this neck and be more, because the female's shoulders are softened. They're usually soft in most cases. There is a break, but there is softened. The male's is usually more straight with the neck, more straighter. There's a break, and then it goes straight like this and like this. You see the difference? There is a hard edge. There is a hard edge difference between the two. And sometimes a little bit of a biology thing here where it's a little more softer. And even if, depending on how masculine your male is, there could be this muscle line here to show a difference. Females tend to have, especially more skinnier females, their collarbone tends to show most cases. If you watch anime, they used to show most cases. Just to be very specific.
No, he's trying to do the neck.
Is this the back? No, we're just doing the shoulder. I gotta go, man. Keep up being inspiring. No problem. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Ben. I just want to say you're amazing and I love your work. Thank you. Aw, thank you guys. You guys are amazing. I do appreciate it. Thank you. It brings me nothing but joy to hear that. But thank you guys. I really do. I'm glad I didn't miss my class today. Okay, so this is the difference between the transitioning of the gray. So what is the importance of grayscale? So like, let's use some grayscale. Let's apply it this time instead of just keep talking about it. So let's put, let me take a circle. Alright, and I'm going to...
Can you remember my name? I changed it.
AP Productions. Can you remember my name? I changed it. I can't remember. I couldn't be able to remember, and I think you even changed the picture. No, I don't think the picture was changed.
That's not fair.
I can't remember that. This is gonna be impossible for me to know. So I got like 1,001 people walking here, so I won't know. So like, okay, so for instance, we're gonna keep this very simple. I'm gonna make this gray.
On the shoulder so you can see what depth is.
Yeah, I might have to do that later. But like, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna put a gray in here.
Asher.
Oh, Ashkar! Okay, I remember Ashkar. I remember Ashkar being here several times. Thank you for letting me know. I appreciate it. Thank you. Now, let's say, for instance, the light is coming from this side of. Let's just say it's coming from this side. Right, and I changed my pick too. Okay, just making sure. Use the grayscale on the shoulders. Okay, I'll use on the shoulders in a second. Let me just with a shape, so it makes it easier for everyone to understand. I know using a circle is pretty like basic to use, but it's the best thing to use. So let's just say the light is coming from here. So most likely, if the light's coming from here, what's going to happen, which I'm going to clip into this so I don't have to worry about this later. What's going to happen is that I'm going to transition to the light like this, and I'm going to take said color, and what I'm gonna do is make this easy. I'm gonna just use a lasso tool. So I'm gonna do it like this, right? So it's the white. It's not gonna be totally white, but it's gonna be white enough compared to this one. It's gonna be the color. The base color is gonna be a transition, and the color here will be. I'm gonna use the colors that are here. Will be our darkest version of this. So we have 3 shades and we're going this way, right? The light's coming this way, so we know where the light's coming from. Now there are things to look for when doing this. First, transitioning, because even though we know this is going to be our base, we want this to look much more smoother. So what will happen is that we will want to transition and make this more of like a wait, what's the word? It starts with a G.
Gradient?
Make a gradient, correct. So what's gonna happen is that we want to be very subtle when doing this. I don't know why my pen stopped doing this. I think it could have broke in this sense.
Is acid on it?
I don't know. It's an accident or something. No, like quack. Oh, okay. But the act. Oh, then char. So quackshar. Quackshar? Quashar? Kashar.
No, how you say quack?
Huh?
How you say quack is act. Akshar.
Oh, Akshar. Okay, I thought it was Akshar. Okay, my bad. Okay, I got it. Okay. Hey, Ichi. Hey, Ichi, what's going on? Okay.
Yes, the girl guy. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, good. You got it, Chrissy. So what happens is that we're going to put a... We want to get... What makes this hard is that most people don't focus on the actual transitions. They worry about how does it look than understanding the transitions. So to do this, we have to find a good medium between these two colors instead of just having one dominate the other. So what I would do would take this color, right? Go to our color wheel, and then slightly go towards down. Pull down our color wheel, make our color picker go down a little bit, and then what we're gonna do is transition by using this. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is go between this again to make this easier. And then because we're going from here to here, we have to make this darker as we go, but not too dark to the point that it doesn't make any sense. I'm just using one brush. It's not a special brush. I'm just using one brush.
Mom was like, "You're gonna cook?" I'm like, "Yes, but it's gonna be mushrooms in it." She's like, "I'm gonna cook."
Got her with the 1-2. Okay, so
What was her deal against mushrooms?
I don't know her problem either.
They're like a great meat substitute. If you don't have enough meat, throw mushrooms in it.
Yeah, and also I need to mention when you're doing using your brush should be big. It should never be really small. It should never be very small. It should be really big, so it feels more natural in that sense. I'm gonna do it again.
Ooh, do you know what I kind of want you to try out?
What?
I want you to try out doing like a name writing stream,
What are you
but
talking
in
about?
your hand font.
Handwriting. What the hell?
Yeah, so people put their names in the chat, and you read their names, and you write their names.
Uh-huh.
And people will literally pay just to have their name put up for next.
I don't know what that is.
I'll show you when you're done. Since your handwriting is such a font, you should try it out.
Okay. And now, from this point, everything will get lighter. Much lighter from this point now. Okay, like that.
Yeah.
Teaching me way more than YouTube tutorial. Thank you. No problem. Just to be clear, guys, I do have a video on this very subject right now on YouTube, so you guys can always go to it. I get real specific with it and with certain terms, and I give you guys the general terms of those things, so you guys can have a better understanding. So what's happening here is that we made a gradient. You see how more 3D this looks? Because we made the gradient make sense, because we started from here,
yeah,
from light, gray, dark gray to almost black, but we don't want it full black. You don't want that. Full black comes from the ambient light, or not ambient light, the ambient occlusion. I said that wrong. The ambient occlusion, which most of you may not know, or never heard of, or don't really take the time to learn, it is the shadow within the shadow. What does that make? What does that mean?
Uh-oh, someone's confused.
Wait, I'm still confused. Okay, so what are you confused about? Leave your question in the questionnaire. I would love to see your question.
It's right there. They got so many viewers just by writing their names. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. Okay. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Teaching me the way
your handwriting is such a font.
So, okay, Sin, tell me what you're having a trouble with. I can explain it, or try to give me a question on that, and I'll try to answer it. I'll try my best to answer it. Now, just to be clear to some of you, how do you know how how big what do you call it? The
blending part.
The shadow may be. The shadow you can tell by putting the lining of the light like this, and then you can tell from the tip of the angle where you have to put the shadow. So if that's always a question, you just don't put a random shadow and wondering why it doesn't work. It has to be narrow and has to be in line with the said thing. So like if I were to do it like this, it won't look right? That don't look right. So first it has to be under here. What we're gonna do, we're going to take that same black that we had earlier. We're going to put it here. Right? It looks like it's done, but it's not. We're far from done, actually. I'm gonna make this a lot more. Okay?
The blending part is what made them confused.
So the blending part is the understanding of transitioning. So like, let's put it this way. Let me use an example. Let me use a red. This might be easier.
You're such a teacher.
Oh Jesus, don't start with me. Alright, so let's say this way. Say this is our black. Let's just say this is our black, and this is our white. Okay, it's not as dark as the black here. Let's just say this is black. This is an example, and this is our gray. I'm gonna make this a little bit more pinkish or just lighter. You know what? Better yet, I got a better idea. I got a better idea. I gotta darken this. Let me darken this some more so it can be make more sense. This is our blackish red. This is our. Come on. There we go. The blending part. Okay, don't worry. I'll get to that part.
Welcome.
Let's make this gray. Welcome. This is gonna be really dark, and this is our gray, and this here is our white. Oops, nope. This is our white. This is our white. This is our gray.
I guess, yeah, if you're able to record that much.
And this is our black.
Screen record.
Now, what?
They're asking if they can screen record.
They don't have to. It's gonna be on YouTube.
Oh, it's
on YouTube right now. You can jump to YouTube right now and look at it. Hey Etchy, I hope you're having an awesome time, Etch. I'm sorry, I'm just doing a class, so sorry about this. So you don't have to screen record. You can literally jump up there, or if you don't feel like screen recording, you can always jump to the YouTube video. This will be free on YouTube.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Anyway, so over here, the difference between the two is that we want to make sure that this can transition easily to each other, right? We just don't blend them, right? We have to transition within a transition. So we get this color here, because this is the medium between these two general colors. So what we're going to do, we're going to go more towards, since we're going to be more light over here, we're going to go towards a little bit to the light, and then we're going to blend it. Oops, I just realized what I was using. We're going to blend it. And then we're going to
Take that in between.
take that in between and shade them together. See how much more lighter this transition is? You see that? And then we're going to take this dark between the gray and go real, not too dark, but dark enough to connect to this. And then we're going to darken here.
Generic YouTube transition music or montage.
Or something like that. Oh, don't want to do that. This usually would be easier if my pen wasn't being a dumbass, so I have to
You didn't
manually do
did
this.
you?
No, it's not working. It doesn't work anymore with the whole. I guess I pressed it too much, or it just doesn't want to work anymore. It's
What
kind of
software are
annoying.
you using?
I'm using Click Studio Paint to do this. Oh, nice. So if what software? Okay, can I screen record? The blending part. Okay, so if you're still having trouble, let me know, because what happens is you take the gray. So just to be very specific, you go to the gray, say this is white and this is black, which they are, and then you go into the gray, you color pick said gray, okay? You color pick the gray, and then you go towards a darker version of that gray as a transition color. So you color between said colors. So you're not coloring this gray and just you're not color picking just this gray and then just shading between the thing and making it work. What happens is you color pick this gray, you go to your color wheel.
Hey,
Step one, go to your color go to your gray, your between color. Go over to your color picker. You go down a little bit towards the blue, or a little bit towards wherever. It doesn't have to be towards blue, but like just say you're at yellow and we're at this color. You want to go towards the green because it's more cooler. Because remember, white is warmer than black.
Really?
Yes, because remember, light comes from where? Light.
Yeah.
It's from warmth. Even though you may not feel warmth, it's coming from some type of warm signature.
I have to go. Sorry. I'll look at the YouTube videos up.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But please follow the YouTube. It will be really helpful if you guys do that. I really would appreciate it if you do. We're trying to get to we're getting to 1,000. We're trying to get to 1,000 on YouTube. So if you guys want to help that, please follow that YouTube. Please, or if you don't feel like getting that information from YouTube, but you want something more in depth, just like how I'm doing this, you can go to my 5 factors on anatomy and how to draw. Please check out the course. It's only 2 hours long, so I don't want to make it too long on you guys, but I do want to see the feedback, what you guys say. If it's trash, if it's dumb, if it's off, if it's strange. It's on Gumroad. If you don't know how to find it, you go to my YouTube, you click on the link tree, it takes you to the link tree link, and then it will say something calling Architecturist Gumroad right here at the very top. You click it and it sends you straight to that, and then you can either purchase it for $15 for 72 hours to 30 days, or you can buy the full thing for $60, but the first 100 people who buy it will use my code ULTRA. It'll take $10 off, so you're actually paying $50. So check it out, please.
All different hairstyles. I'm sorry. I hate when I have to overlap when you're speaking.
Let me see.
Like, you know.
Okay, got it. So if you're still confused, don't Don't feel scared to ask. You're not dumb or anything for not understanding, because it took me some time to understand this too. But after a while, there is a pattern here. The pattern never changes. That's the best thing about it. It is a pattern, though, with the transitioning thing. There is a pattern. So the pattern is always go to the transitioning color. You go towards the most coolest color on the color wheel, because you're actually doing color temperature from this point. And then you color pick towards this color. So you go a slightly darker gray, and you use that as a form of transition in the middle here to connect these two. So these are, think of it in animation like keyframes, like keyframe 1, keyframe 2, and then you're doing the breakdown between them, if you understand animation in that sense. You're doing the breakdown, or you're doing the keyframing, I mean not keyframing, the breakdowns and the
I think that's kind of
in-betweens. But then again, that may work for those who are animators.
Yeah.
May not much. If you don't understand still, don't feel scared to ask. I understand. I'm a teacher. It's what I do, and it's what I'm, I guess, kind of good at. So it is what it is. So just to answer you guys on this question, there's something called ambient occlusion. What is ambient occlusion? Ambient occlusion is our darkest dark. So where does that come from? So think about you being in the bathroom or in your room or something, and you're in a well-lit room. So you just turn on the light, and it's bright as hell. Now take your hand, right now, take your hand, clap them together, and look inside of it. It's dark, right? It's dark. It should be. It's dark. There's no light getting into it. So when you open your hand and you see the darkness in there, that's considered ambient occlusion. It's the darkest of darks. It's where light cannot reach at all. So where does ambient occlusion fall onto this ball? Now the ambient occlusion falls onto the ball within the shadow of the shadow. So where do we find the shadow of the shadow? So to do this, you have to go into the corner.
That's not like a Kingdom Hearts problem.
Yes, it's a Kingdom Hearts problem. So like you go into the shadows like this. I'm going to clip into it so we don't have to go outside of it. So what's going to happen, we're going to go inside said shadow, and you're going to see where I'm going to point it so my mouse is where it is. This is something I had a hard time with at one point. It's here, right? So the ambient occlusion will be inside here. It'll be where the light cannot reach, in this corner, literally in this corner. And it will be on the ball as well, in that sense, but only a little bit, because it's such a small piece of the puzzle here. That gives your drawing more depth, okay? And then what's going to happen, I'm going to try to... Now it has a more 3D sense, but we're not done yet, but I'll explain why. So our darkest dark is in the very edge of the light. So please remember this. Okay, so like for instance, let me see. If I turn down the shade a little bit, oh wait, I wonder if I turn this down. Oh no. Like this. You see how that works? Sorry about that, guys. Let me plug this in real quick so we can keep continuing our studies here. Let me see. Okay, let me plug this in, and then we'll be ready. So much negative energy in other lives. I prefer to say, "Aw, thank you." Aw. I'm just a teacher. I'm just trying to teach, trying to make the world slightly better for those artists out there who's having a hard time. I know how I felt. Okay, so what's happening is that... oops. My bad. Sorry. Okay, so what's happening is that... we have the light in the light... Oh. We have the darkness in the night. Oh my god, I can't talk today. We have the shadow within the shadow. It's this darkest dark into the shadow itself. So that's what we want in most cases. Now you must wondering, what brush should I use when doing this? You should always use, well, in my opinion, you should always use your airbrush tool for this. This is the time I actually say airbrush tool is a good thing to have. You should have your airbrush tool for this. You should use your airbrush tool when it comes to this very subject. Now, you must wondering, why is it not looking 3D? It's because I'm using this outline, I think, ultimately. The outline is, there we go. See how much more 3D it looks now without the outline? Much better. See how much better that looks? Try again. See how 3D that looks, right? Easy as pie. Shouldn't the whole shadow be dark? No. That's actually wrong. Because if the whole thing is just dark, then there's no transitioning between the 3Dness and stuff. So what happens is that the shadow, actually this shadow is a little bit too dark, to be honest, in my opinion. So what's gonna happen is that I want this shadow to be a little bit more lighter than it should be. Because what happens, the light fades, the shadow fades off in the distance in that sense. So I want a little bit more shading. So I'm going to, I want this to be a little bit more. There we go. See how much better that looks? Look how that transition looks. See how much, and then what we're gonna do to our shade is that we're going to erase a little bit of the edges. We don't want it looking like it'll never look totally like this. So what we're going to is take the eraser tool, and we're going to erase, we're gonna use a big eraser tool so it feels more natural. Not too big, but big enough. And we're going to erase this, a little bit of it like this. So that's one way of doing it and keeping that 3D. Now there's something called ambient light. Ambient light, or also known as reflected light, is the light that reflects off objects. So let's say we have this, let's just use this for example. Let's use this red I put up here for example, the pink and stuff. So what happens is light comes in and well,
Hydrate.
oh, you did move the cup.
Why do you think I don't? Well, actually, never mind. Don't answer that.
Yeah, I thought so. Anyway.
Now, you want something extremely salty.
What do you... Please give me two.
That's
anyway.
Taps.
Don't mind my name, but here to stop by to appreciate what you've been doing, sharing your knowledge and wisdom is a very kind thing to do, and not enough people respect it. So thank you, I appreciate it. I don't want to say it out loud, it might cause trouble, but like, thank you, I do appreciate it. Thank you so much, that means a lot to me. Thank you. Aw, that made my day. Oh, okay, that's good. Okay, so thank you. I hope my teachings are at least helping you as well. Oh, if it has, I really hope it does. Sorry about that, guys. I had a few chips. But what's happening is that we have something called refracting light, or something known as ambient occlusion. Now, where does this come from? Now, imagine light coming down from here, which it is. Actually, I should have made this much more defined with the light, but let's just say it's coming from that down here, right? So light's coming here. Now there's light coming into this red thing here. There's the transition I made earlier. And what happens is going to bounce into our circle. So what's going to happen is we're going to take a tint off this, right? We're going to clip this into our sphere here. We're going to take a airbrush tool, and we're going to make our airbrush tool really big. Not too big, but big, right? And we're going to slightly, be very subtle with this. We're going to slightly tint it into our what do you call it? Our cylinder. Sorry, I keep losing track. But thank you so much. Oh, I do appreciate it. We don't want to be too noticeable because what happens is the light bounces into the color. The color drops into the next object, but it loses its intensity. So like think of like you taking a piece of clay off like a sculpture or something, or just a piece of clay and putting it somewhere else. It's going to be less as it was before. So what's going to happen is that we're going to put a little bit of tint in here, just enough for you to notice, but you can't be that noticeable. It has to be transitioned very well like this.
Yeah, it loses saturation.
Yeah, it loses its saturation. Good. And its opacity. Good. I love that. But what you can do, if you're not good with subtlety, you can do it like this. Like this. Let's just say like that. And then, like I said, with the opacity, what you mentioned, with Arbin, and then you pull it back like this, and you put a little bit of tint like that, so it feels more like this. But then, are we done? No, we're still not done. So what happens is with ambient light, it not only just jumps in from light, but it also jumps into the shadow. Now let's just say the light was bouncing here.
Thank you for the follow.
Thank you. It bounces into our sphere, and what happens is it bounces into our shadow. Now where does the light go? Into our shadow. So what's gonna happen is that I'm going to.
We also have a YouTube, Instagram, and he has a course if you're looking to do anatomy.
Yes, what she said. Okay, so we're gonna put a little tint into our shadow here. A little bit. Because since we're literally in the shadow, it's gonna be pretty hard to notice, but you have to put it in there. Like this.
Yes, where? On Gumroad. Show it.
On Gumroad, right here. It is $15 to rent for 72 hours to 30 days, depending on what you choose. It's the 5 factors of anatomy. I give you all the factors that you need. We're going to use this dummy. I draw this dummy to this point. We don't put hairs or face or anything like that because I want you guys to understand the basics. And then based on how you guys buy this and based on how you guys receive it and give you your information, not only I'm going to make another course, something much longer and so far in depth that you will get pissed at me for giving too much information. That's how serious I am about this. So if you guys want to try it out, it's $60 for the keep forever, or if you don't want to pay the full $60, which I understand, you can get $10 off by using.
You have Patreon too.
I do have Patreon, but I don't focus too much on it yet because I want to get to 1,000 on YouTube, just as like a failsafe. That's why. But we're almost at 1,000. So the goal is to get to 1,000, and I'll be focusing a lot on the YouTube, on the Patreon for exclusive stuff for those who, donate and stuff like that. So they'll get exclusive like one-on-one sessions with me and stuff like that if they need it. I'll try how to make that work and stuff like that. But right now, if you want something in depth that's like, it's 2 hours long, I think an hour to 2 hours long. It's snippets of different videos. Oh no, it's a 3-hour course. It has 5 videos in it, and each video will teach you the fundamentals of what I explained many times in my classes here.
It's the website. It's called Gumroad.
It's called Gumroad. So if you don't know where to find it, you can go on my TikTok in my bio and click on my link tree. It'll take you straight here. It says Architecture's Gumroad. Once you click it, it'll take you straight to the factors right here. So if you want to try it out, you can. You can rent it or you can buy it.
I
Or if you don't want to buy the full 60, you can use the word ultra, like plus ultra, but ultra only, all lowercase. You don't have the word in capitals, but ultra to get $10 off. So you'll be paying $50. So I hope that'll be both helpful for you guys out there. And there is Redbubble. I do have Redbubble fan artwork that's up there if you want to get a shirt from me or a case of D. I have a few Hero Academia shirts, Teen Titans, all that stuff that's up there. I'll be making a lot more as time goes by, so you guys get some exclusive stuff from me, especially if you're a Patreon member. You'll get like discounts and stuff on the low. So I would love to give that to my patrons when we get to 1,000. So if you really want to help, if you really want to get that crazy information from me, follow the YouTube. Please, we're almost at 1,000. We're at 753 last I checked. So we want to get 200 more so we get that 1,000. So please, if you guys really like what I am doing, if you like if you want to keep this free and fun, that's the best way to support in one way or another. So there you go. Okay. Thank you for asking. No, do you guys have Patreon too? Yes. But
it's underneath the same name. Everything's underneath the same name.
Everything's under the same name. Same logo, same everything. Which I designed. But the thing is, when the light gets into the shadow, we don't want this light to be that bright. You don't want to be that bright. You want to be subtle. So we're going to bring the light a little bit in, but that's it. And what's the last thing we want is the light to bounce in and on the side of our circle. So what's going to happen, we want a little bit of light coming in here. So how we're going to do that is that we're going to, let me see.
I want to try a turducken this year.
Hold on, jump. I just want to get this.
Freak of a mess.
So what I just did there, I don't make it too intense. What I just did there is give it more 3D-ness by giving it a little more light, so it bounces into the shadow and in a little bit of the ambient light will be on the side. You can make this even more 3D by putting light, I think a little more light at the edge of the, like a backlight thing. Let me see, let me use a hard. Like this. That's one way you can do it. Oh, and yes, you should use blending modes. They do help. Like for instance, if I were to make this even more darker than I wanted it to be, I can by making this into a multiply layer. So I'll multiply this, it'll be even darker than it is now. You may not see too much of it, but it's there. So it feels more real in that sense. So, hey, hold on. There's one thing I didn't understand here. No, that's fine, okay. Let me see. Just to make sure it's something. There we go. Now it feels more of a ball than we did before. Remember, it was just a circle? Now we have a whole sphere. I think it needs a little more lighting, but it's fine. I think we can get away with this. We can get away with this with murder a little bit, I think. I think we did a great job here. I am so proud of my students. Thank you guys for being part of this. We only have 2 hours left till I have to go, so I end it soon, but not anytime soon right now. But we'll keep going. Someone asked a question. What was their last question? I forgot what it was. Was it about shoulders?
Oh yeah, they wanted you to mix in shadows with shoulders.
With shoulders?
See where
okay.
you place shadows on shoulders.
Alright, let me see. How do you get the girl's face right? Okay, I remember answering this question. I know that the person's still here. Right, if you're still here, Galaxy, let me know. But someone did ask about shoulders, so what we're gonna do, I'm going to put all this.
Do you remember what layer it was?
No. I put it on his own document. Oops. See what happens when you don't get all of them? That's what it looked like before. Wow, that's what it looked like before. Like, look, this is what it looked like now. But that's what it looked like before.
Thank you for the follow.
Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Yes. All might. Okay, let me put it in here. Okay, now they asked me about the shoulder. Now, I like to use grayscale first before I do coloring. Oh, I forgot to mention. The reason why you should do grayscale is easier because not that it teaches your whites, your tints, your tones, and your shades, but you can actually apply color right under said grayscale. So what would happen is that I would do this like this. Let me see. So under here, we'll take let's say a blue. I don't know if it's gonna work, but let's see if it works.
Hi, cyan.
Like this, right? And what will happen, or better yet, what can happen is that I can take this blue. Whoops. Alright, and then I don't know if I can still do it. Oh wait, I forgot. I have to make all these shadows into multi. Okay, that's one way of doing it. You don't want to make everything multiply because, see, the difference between a normal layer and a multiply layer is that the multiply not only multiplies the color by 2 or by 10 or something like that, but what it does, it also fades in. So like, let me use this for example. Let's just say I took a blue, right? This blue, right? And I took and this is just on a normal layer, and then I take another layer and put literal gray on it, right? Like this gray. It's just literally on top of said blue, right? So, hey, hun. How do you shade clothes? It's so confusing. Okay, to understand shading of clothing, you need to understand the wrinkles. Because that's usually what causes all the trouble. So, oh, Crazy, you're back. You just missed it. We just finished doing this. We just finished creating this as an example of grayscale. But to be quite honest with you here, how you doing, hun? Are you being safe? Are you everything okay over there, hun? So what happens is that we clip this grayish color. I'm gonna say grayer color. I'm gonna say it's a grayer color, like a grayer color, right? This gray color, just to show a difference between the two, like this gray color. And then what's gonna happen? I'm going to make it into a multiply layer. It's gonna times the color by 2, but it's also gonna be transparent on its own. So I'm gonna hit it like that, right? Now it blends in with the blue. Remember, it was just gray. I'm gonna put it back normal. It was just gray. Now it multiplies the color by 2 and also blends with the color in the background, which is that blue. Now, how do you deal with this if it looks too dark? Usually when you use the multiply layer, you can turn down the fadeness, the opacity. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't keep it at full 100. You always pull it down. Everything's down. Writing everything down. Good, Ichi. Good. I'm proud of you. Good. You're learning. Write down anything possible. And if you miss something, you can always go back to the YouTube and always refer back to this if you need it. Okay, 42. So, 42. So you put it back like this, and then it blends in with the color. You see how that works? By the way, yesterday was my birthday. Happy birthday to ya! Happy birthday to ya! Happy birthday! Happy birthday to ya! Happy birthday to ya! Happy birthday!
And then everybody picks up and leaves.
I know everyone does. Happy birthday, Crazy. How old are you now, bro? How old are you, bro? Don't lie.
Don't lie.
Let me see. How to do different hairstyles. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. I will actually get to that point.
Only truth.
Only
Look
truth?
at my eyes.
Mm,
No lies.
no lies!
Only truth.
Meh.
21.
21! Oh my god, he hit the 2-1! I'm so proud of you, bro. You lived about over 20 years. I'm so proud of you. Most people don't get to live to see the age of 10. So good!
Oh my god, that's so
That's an accomplishment!
But that one.
Joe Phoenix anniversary. Oi? I'm not really sure what that means. I'm not sure what that means. Can it be any color? Yes, it could be any color. It doesn't have to be gray. I'm just using that as an example. Let's say I take a red real quick and I put it like this under the same layer. It's going to mix in. Like, okay, I have a 33% opacity. If I turn this on, it's going to mix it and turn purple-ish. See how that works? Because if I turn it off and multiply and put on a normal layer, it'll be just a red on top of a blue. Once you make it multiplies the layer, the color by 2, I think, and then it blends in. That's how I'm able to make the shading I do for my work. So like, let's use an example. Clothing, perfect example. When I was doing, oh wait, no, not this one. You guys go, no.
I love how.
Oh, that one's a secret. I don't want to see in that one.
I like how.
Thanks. I'm out partying, but wanted to check in your. Aw, thank you.
Oh wow.
Aw, thank you. You know what, Crazy? Go have fun, bro.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about my weirdo
class.
ass.
Go have
Go have fun. Go get drink. Go get drunk. Don't get too drunk, but don't go have fun. Drink, my friend. Don't mind my
Enjoy
name.
yourself.
Oh, and Nicholas, are you still here, bro? It doesn't tell me if anyone's watching because I think Twitch is not Twitch, but I think OBS is having an issue, so I don't know how many people are here. Thank you. So like, okay, so let's use this for example. I already finished this, so you guys are getting a sneak peek of what's coming down the pipeline. I already finished all my stuff. They're all ready to go on TikTok. I didn't put them out today because I was too late, but they'll be coming out probably Thursday or so. But anyway, so I'm gonna take away these backgrounds, take all these colors and stuff like that, right? I'm gonna put this back here. Okay, there's all my sketches, right? Oh, there's something that most of my students don't know about. When you're doing coloring, you should always color your line art. What does that mean? Or your sketches, or I'll say line art. Let's just say line art. Okay.
Thank you for the follow.
Thank you for the follow!
Both of you. I think you steal them. I'm not sure.
Battery low. Some might come back when you're still on. Okay. I'll be here till 10. It's 8:11, so if you're here before then that'll be great. But thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I said nothing but love to you. Thank you. Be safe out there. You have fun with your friends. Drunk. Get crazy, but don't get too crazy to the point that you end up being in the
paddy wagon.
In the paddy wagon or the pokey, whatever you call it these days.
Yeah,
I'm still here. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. I know you've been waiting patiently. You've been really, really patient with me, Nicholas. I thank you, bro. Don't worry, you will be rewarded. I will not leave you behind in the dust. Because you asked, I meant a face that is narrow, but has a prominent chin, but as well as a wide cheeks and forehead. Can I have an example of that? I need an example of that because I can go for virtually. Hey Holland, welcome back, bro.
Yeah.
Draw a lot more like at look at these sketch. Yeah, these sketches will be coming out throughout the pipeline on Instagram and stuff. He's a cut Myers. He's a cut Myers.
Every time I hear that name,
I can handle my liquor by. Okay, let her, bro. All right, so let me see. Now, what's happening here is that I put in the color. We have the basic color. These are basic colors, right? Now, what I would do, and I don't need to redo. I don't have to worry about the color because I'll put them in their own thing. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to go to the color of and how you shade, how I shade when it comes to hues, is that you need a good understanding of we call it color temperature. So like this is a pink, right? We got pink, and we're going to see it in the color wheel. This is a pink or a reddish pink, and we're in the warm side. Now let's just say that the shade was coming from behind our character, or no, Yeah, behind our character. So the light, the light's coming from behind our character. So the shade will be in front of our character. So what's gonna happen is we want to go down a little bit and then go down a little bit here. We don't do, a lot of beginners do this thing where they go to the color, right? They kind of get the color that they want, and then they just kind of want to go to dark, and then they start coloring, and it looks weird. It looks just strange, right? You don't want this. You do not want this. What you want to do is get the color, which is right, step 1. Step 2, go to your color wheel first. You pull down to the coolest color compared to the 2 colors. So the coolest color is the color that is the coolest one complete between the 2. So let's just say we're at yellow. Say our base color was yellow, right? And we want to get the shade of this yellow. So what's the coolest color between the 2? We have orange and we have green. So which one is the coolest color, green or orange? I want to see if you guys see it. Some of you may know this, Crazy might know this, but I think you got it already. But I want to see who knows what. So is green the coolest color or orange? I'll give you guys about 30 seconds. Hello, Angel fan, welcome back. I think you've been here before, Angel. Green. Okay, green. Yes, you guys are right. Green is right. Green is the coolest color between the 2 because even though yellow is a warm color, the closest color to yellow is green because green is a cool color. Because if you guys know, and the cool color groups and the warm color groups, the cool color groups is green, blue, purple, and I guess you can say gray, but gray is such a muted color, so you can't really count that. So green, blue, purple. Now warm colors are yellow, orange, red, and pink. There are 4 compared to the 3. I think I'm missing another color with the cool side, but I'm generally in the right on this. So like, say we went to the cool side, we don't go all the way to green. So if you're wondering that, you don't jump all the way to green. So what happens is, let's just say we're at yellow and we want to go to the shade. We just tilt it a little bit towards green, a little bit, not completely, but a little bit. And then we go down a little bit dark, a little bit, because it's a cool color, because anything cool is usually in shade. Think about you being outside in the sun and it's really hot. What's the first thing you go to? Under the tree in the shade. Easy, right? So that's what makes it easy. So let's go back to and apply that same logic. Pink is our base color, our pinkish red, and we are getting our shadow in the front of the face because the light's coming behind us. So we're going to go down a little bit because it's going towards the red. Red is the most hottest color, meaning it's the most brightest color. So what's going to happen is that we're going to pull away from the red a little bit towards more of the pink, because pink, between red and pink, red is hotter than pink, even though red and pink belongs to hot colors. Think of Dragon Ball Z in this sense. Goku's stronger than Vegeta, most cases, depending on how you look at it. Vegeta's much more tactical than Goku, but let's just put it this way, by power level. So Goku's stronger than Vegeta. Vegeta's stronger than Trunks. Trunks is stronger than Goku. But they're all Saiyans. So think of it this way, they're all Saiyans, right? But one is stronger than the other in intensity. So that makes sense, right? So like, if this was red, this is Goku, and the pink is technically Vegeta in that sense. So we're going down cooler because he is not as strong intensity of warmth. Do you understand? I'm using this as an example, not really trying to stir up anyone from the Dragon Ball Z community to fight me to the death after 3 episodes of me and them talking. No, I'm using an example, so don't kill me this. But I'm just saying.
Super Saiyan.
MLB. MLB. Okay, so what happens here is that we pull it back here a little bit, right? And we pull down the color a little bit, and then we add our shading to our said character. I don't want the color to be too big. So usually I'll use a lasso tool because I'm not really worried about the transitioning right now. I just put a lasso tool. So like, let's just say I put like this. Now, this is a good color between the 2. but it's not good enough because our shading, well, anything that applies to this color should be placed. So like this, and like this, and then we put like this. Okay. Now, these colors seem pretty harsh the way I'm using them, right? But don't worry, this is where everything comes, because we're in the right track with the shading, because we did the color temperature stuff, right? So I want to make sure that everything makes sense based on the shading, because remember I said the shadings come from behind our character. So if it's coming from behind our character, all our light and shadow will be coming at front, because the light's coming from behind. So anything from behind will be brightened. Anything in the front will be shaded. So let's put it that way. So I'm just doing that to make sense of it. Okay, like that, right? And now we're not done yet. What's gonna happen? This is just a shading technique. So if you're wondering about the wrinkles, we'll get to that part next, and then I'll get to Nicholas's question. Okay, so the color that we're gonna post. Sorry, must click. Yeah, I understand. Okay, gotcha. So I'm going to make this into a multiply layer. Now it darkens the color, right? But that's okay. Now we're going to bring it down, and it feels much more. The transition feels a lot more subtle. Look, it feels a lot more real. It looks like a real shading now, right? Does that look better? What do you guys think? Does that look better? I'll even use it for the jacket here, right? We'll do the same thing with the jacket, same pattern, same everything. So we got a green. We have like this muted green, right? And then we go down a little bit, because since we're in green, we're going towards the blue, because blue is darker than green, right? And then we go down a little bit. Well, not darker, they're cooler than green. I said that wrong. And then we don't want to go that far. And then we have our color, right? And then what's gonna happen? I'm gonna make another layer just to give you guys a demonstration. Okay, like this. And then what's gonna happen is that I'm going to put in the colors like this, and be aware of my shading and my lighting. Be aware of that, because if you just put the shading randomly, it's gonna look weird, strange. You're gonna feel like, why doesn't look right? Because you have to understand the behavior of the light, because the light dictates where the shading is. The shading also does the same thing with the light, because the light dictates where the shading is. If you can dictate where the light is, you will know how the shading will behave. Okay, so that makes sense. It's like if you understand your dog, you'll know how your dog responds. Like if you know your dog is the type of dog that'll try to bolt out the door, the last thing you're gonna do is try just open the door and keep the door open. Does that make sense? So like, we'll put it like this. All right, like that. Shading. And since it's coming from behind, oops, we don't want that. There we go. And the shading comes like this, because we want to be cognizant of what we're doing. Okay, good job. Looking good. I want this color in this right here. Okay. Right? All the shading's in. We're in the shading. Pretty good. And then next thing we do, we want to make the shading multiply. It's gonna darken it by ×2, but it's gonna blend in. So that blending will help when you do the opacity and turn it down. See how that works? Now it feels a lot more natural. See? Simple. It's not that hard. It's the same pattern over and over again. Now, we're not technically done yet, because we still haven't technically colored the light. The movement of the shadows are according to the volume of the object, right? Yes, it goes along with the contour and everything. You don't just put a shadow like this. You just don't do this, because it's gonna feel flat and weird. You go with the actual contour of said object. So like, for instance, see how I went like this? Because I'm being cognizant. I can't say it. I'm being aware of the shape of said of said object. Okay, so you have to look out for that. And like for instance, let's say for this face, let me get the shade on top. So what's gonna happen is that I put this, since remember our line is going like this, right? So if our line is going like this, our shading will be in the same way. So like this. Oops, I forgot. It's not. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so like this. And then I'm going to make a multiply. Oop. And make it multiply. Multiply. And then I'm going to turn down. Now you see how the shading follows along with I understand what you're saying, but then I can't use warm colors for shading. No, you can. It depends on how you're using the warm colors, because remember, we're still using warm colors. Like the pink is still a warm color. I mean, this reddish pink is a warm color, but because we need it to shade, we're gonna cool down said colors. So, like warm colors make warm colors make cool shadows. Cool shadows. Oh my, say that wrong. Cool shadows make warm shadows. Warm shadows make cool shadows. Does that make sense? But if you have a warm light, use colors for shading. But if you have a warm light, use colors. I'm saying that. But if you have a warm light, use cool colors for shading. It depends on that. Only depends on the base color itself. So like for instance, like I was gonna say earlier with the light, with the green, this green here, it's a cool color, right? But we want the light to show. So what's gonna happen, like the same way but in reverse, instead of just in shadow, we're going to do it in reverse. So we're going to get this base color, and because we're going to be light, we're going towards away from the blue, and we're going to go up a little bit like this. So what's going to happen is that we're going to put in I like using a brush for this. Let me see. Where's my brush? There it is. There it is. Okay. So like my brush, I need it bigger. Big brush. Where's my big? Okay, there it is. Okay, now we're going to put the. What the hell? Oh, that's why. All right, so I want it to be up top, and then I'll put the light here. Okay. I need to make sense out of this, so like I just don't put it randomly, right? You have, since our light is coming from behind, there will be some light coming on the side, because remember, light just doesn't go like this and don't curve. It curves into your shirt and everything as much as it can, if possible, right? So to give that 3D-ness, I give it a transition of hard edge here. You see how I have this hard edge? I made it hard edge, and you see this transition give it more of a 3D sculpture, like a sculpture, like clay, and it feels more 3D in that sense, like that. Now, it can't go everywhere, but only where it will mostly behave in most cases. Now, we're not done yet, because the light, we don't call it a light on normal, we call it a light on an overlay, but I call it a light where it is, so I put the overlay on it, and you can bring down a little bit of the light if you want to, if it feels like it's a little bit too intense, but I kind of leave the light how it is. And the last and final thing you should do when you put in the light is put in your highlight, and I'll get to that point in a second. I genuinely have no clue. Okay, let me see. What I typed is a tongue twister. It was a bit of a tongue twister, but I think I understand what you meant. Okay, but if you have a warm light, you use colors for shading. If you have a warm light, you use colors for shading. If you have a warm light, you use based on the color, based on where the light is hitting, and the base color that you have will dictate how warm or how cold the shading will be. So like for instance, let's just say this orange here, right? The light will be hitting this orange. I don't know if I can color it, but this light will be hitting the orange. So what's gonna happen, we wanna make it warm, right? So I'm gonna color in said light. Oh, wait, it's on normal, okay. I'm coloring the light. This is not the shading. It may look like it, but it's not. Let me make it a little brighter. Just to let you guys know, just to see what I'm talking about. Okay. Now that's our light coming through from behind, right? So what's gonna happen when we want to shade said orange shirt, which is still in the warmth, but we want to shade it because not everything can be thing. So we're gonna go towards the yellow a little bit, pull down a little bit of that color. So just to give you guys a good sense of this, so I don't get you guys confused, I kick the base color of this color, base color right here. Then I go towards the yellow a little bit, away from that red, pull down the orange a little bit. It'll be a tinted like greenish color, not greenish, but like a limey, greeny color, somewhat. And then what's gonna happen is that I'm going to put it on one of our multiply layers, and then we're going to shade it in where the light would not reach. Now look how nice that looks, because it's harsh, but it's not as harsh as it is. So the light, it's a warm color being cooled down because it can't be always warm. Does that make sense? Because the light is coming from behind us, because that's where the light's most it's intense. Oh God, I can't talk. Now I put on an overlay because that's the best way to put in your light. Put in an overlay, seeing how much more yellow that looks. Look how more brighter it looks. Now I'm gonna get the highlights. I didn't get to yet, so I'm gonna end up putting the highlights. And our highlights can be pretty bright. It can be almost close to white, but be very sparing of it. So like the best way to do this is to take a sample of your brightest light, like in the section where it's bright, right? And then you go towards more towards the red, and then you put a little bit more bright here, and then you take your color, but you take your spray tool. You don't take your, you can use your hard edge brush if you want, but I go with my soft edge brush for my highlights, and be very sparingly with this, because I know that my students tends to really do this. They just really just go at it with it because they feel like I'm at the final stage of this, and I understand it, I get it, but like I was there too. But you have to be very sparing of this if you want to make it look very realistic or understandably realistic. So like be very sparing of this, like this. Be very sparing. Like that. There we go. That's it. We don't need to add any more light than we have to. That's it. See how natural that looks? And remember, I didn't even darken the in-between of this. So, like, what should have happened is that I should have darkened this even more, like that. And then should have went into... Oops. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Sorry, I didn't even know your messages yet. Hold on. I'm sorry. I just wanted to get this through so I don't forget. hold on. Let me get to this part and then I'll explain. Now I'm putting the ambient light, ambient occlusion in there. So what's gonna happen is already on the multiply tool and then I turn it down. And that gives it more of that transition between really dark and just a shade. It could be subtle, but it can really make a difference. If I were to start animating, what app should I use? As far as I can see it, I've been trying to use Clip Studio Paint, but I say Procreate, as people have been saying, but I have never used Procreate, so I can't say. I have not done a review on it, so I can't say that's the definitive choice for beginners, because I only have Clip Studio Paint to learn from, and I'm still trying to figure that crap out, so I can't even give you my expertise on that. I would just say look at reviews on YouTube and make a pretty formal decision on that. I genuinely have no clue. Okay, Clip Studio is a good one to animate, because I have Clip Studio Paint and I never used it. I mean, I've been trying to use it for animation, but I'm still trying to figure it all out because of the layers and stuff, and I keep getting thrown off. If I'm trying to go broke, I can't afford it. I would go with Clip Studio Paint Pro, because it's cheaper compared to, if you're getting Clip Studio Paint, it's cheaper between EX. EX, you're paying extra for the 60 frames per second thing, if you care about that. But if you're just trying to get into bare bones animating, there are other animating tools that are out there that's free, so you can use OpenTunes. OpenTunes is a great place to learn, and it's not a big file. Plus, I actually am broke, so for lighting, you move it to a warmer, cooler color. Yes, because remember, it's lighting. It's a warm color. It never gets colder. Light doesn't get colder. It just stays warm. It gets warmer or it stays warm. That's one of two things that happens. Because you can't have colder light. You can have a colder subject, like the pink, because the pink is not giving the light. It's just a pink, right? So it's already a warm color by default because of the color. But because the light is hitting on it, it's going to get more intense in pink. Does that make sense? I kind of miss... Bunny, if you still are confused, please let me know. Any other suggestions? There's OpenTunes. Try OpenTunes. I think that'll be the best way for you to learn, because it gives you... It's free. So that's a big highlight of that. So it being free will probably be better for you anyway, in that sense. Oops. Where's the... Okay, like that. I'm kind of bad at my idea. Do you have any tips? Well, for those who know my class as it is, to get good at anatomy, you need to learn this. Oops. Do I have it? Did I delete it? I think I deleted it. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I deleted it. But, oh, there it is. To get good at anatomy, you need to understand shape and form, then gesture, then perspective, and the proportion last. And yes, in that particular order, too. I am here. I message you an example of someone with a okay, heart-shaped face. Okay, now I can go look at that. Okay. Oh, okay, a heart-shaped face. Oh, that's what you meant by heart-shaped. Okay, so what is your question? He's a celebrity. What do you question? Do you know Amino? Isn't the Amino that Nintendo game or something? Something to do with Nintendo? Oh, Deathstroke. So, like, let me see. I'll get rid of this. I don't need this. Don't need this open. Okay, so a heart-shaped face, I can see what you mean. Like a heart-shaped face, it's mostly referring to the cheekbone in that sense. Like mostly like cheekbone. Alright, so I messaged you. What was the question? The question was, don't mind my, oh no, that's it. It was, I meant a face, but I meant a face that is narrow, but has a prominent chin, as well as wide cheeks and forehead. Okay, so what was the original question? I have an art question. If you were going to draw a character with a heart-shaped face, how I would go by doing it is I would do this by literally making a circle. Like I would just go by what I would do. Like if I was draw, what the hell? If I were to if I was to draw this like this, I would just do that circle. Like you can, well, if it's anime based, but like if we're going more human, then it's gonna be more especially on reference, it's gonna be a little bit more different. So you have to be aware of like bone structure in that sense, because you can still draw a character like this and still get the same result, but you have to be very cognizant what you're doing. Since she has more defining features, especially like this, so you have to be aware of those features that really pop out, because she has like strong bone structure like this.
You can be the hero and the villain sometimes on the same day, because you know that in the end, your legacy is the value you leave from them. At Vanguard, you're more than just an investor, you're an owner, because the future you're building is bigger than yourself.
Okay.
Discover the value of ownership.
This. Right. And the refer back to her neck is like that. So not like her chin will be a little bit more sharper than that, in my opinion. Oh wait, Etchy said, oh sorry, I didn't see that. Etchy, sorry. It said after that it was easier to understand the shadows. To identify the light in the drawing, can you use the same principle as the ball? Wait, to identify the light in the drawing, can you use the same? Yes. It's like anything I used against for the ball, you can still it like the pattern never changes no matter what the object is. You just need to be aware of your light source. If you understand where your light source is, everything falls into place like a puzzle. So like for instance, if the light is coming from here, say the light is coming from this side, the shading will be here. That makes sense, because the shading won't be in here, it won't be inside here. Because light is always hiding from shade is always hiding from light. Makes sense. Were you here before? Wait. Oh my gosh, in a XP pen you can go to YouTube like a normal tablet. Am I only the one who didn't know? Yeah, that's possible. Amino. Is Amino like the YouTube, the Nintendo thing? Were you here before? I'm not, wait, were you asking me that, Fox? I'm not sure. I'm kind of bad at, okay, I'm just remembering that, okay. Just make sure I go. How do you shade close so confusing? Okay, I'll get to that part. I hope I answered your question, Etchy. So like shading it will never be in the light. Shading will be in some crevices where the light may be, but it's never going to be blatantly in the light. If that makes sense. Okay, save. Okay. So that's one thing to always keep in mind. But anyway, back to what Nicholas was asking. If I was drawing a character like this, I would make sure that I have all the defining features intact. So her nose is like this and small. So we know her nose is small. So you can. So, like, you make the nose like this, right? Right, and the nose will go like that. And the thing is, you don't have to draw the nose. You can actually shade in the contour itself in that sense to get that sense of realism. You can do that, but if you're not good at that, just draw the nose where you think it's supposed to be. Okay? Thank you for the hearts. I do appreciate it. Her eyebrows is small and yet square, so it's small. Okay. But yet square. Small but yet square. Okay. So what will happen is like this. Remember, I'm not doing the same angle as her face, so if it looks different, that's the reason. I'm not doing the same angle. I'm giving you guys a understanding that just because it's a reference doesn't mean you have to go exactly the same, you know, what do you call it? You don't have to go down the same, what do you call it? You don't have to go down the same position. You can sometimes learn more doing a different position and try and still add the same stuff. So right now I can get away with this because since she's looking directly at us, I can get away with doing the horizontal way of doing the mirroring thing like this, so the nose will be a lot more accurate. The nose will be a lot more accurate in that sense. So I want to keep it accurate so you guys can have an understanding of what this means. But you can get away with this type of thing only if you have digital like that. See how normal that nose looked? I could have just drew it the way I wanted to, but I didn't want to put the extra brain power of doing this. I just want to get to the point because we only have it's only 8:46 and I don't want to waste too much time drawing a face. Fox who? Yeah, Fox asked a question, but I didn't get a response. Okay, so her eyes are quite okay. And there's something called the triangle of death. I think it's called triangle of death. But like, you can really make a difference if you know the understanding of the triangle here. So like, and then I think if I'm right, her eyes are so just at the section of here. So her eyes will be here. In this area specifically. So I want to draw the eyes because we're going more realistic. I'm not going anime here. And our eyes are a lot more smaller, so okay. Let me fix this eye. Look like it's looking off into the distance like she's derping right now. Okay. Now her mouth, remember she has strong cheekbones. So what we want is the lips to be, because since she has strong cheekbones, she has a small mouth. Funny. She has a small mouth, so like we want to keep that in unison. I need to erase it a little bit. Okay. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna I'm gonna contour it like this. Or we can leave the lip alone, because that probably might throw people off, because she has like some type of weird lips, so I'm gonna just put it away. Remember, her neck is curved. I want her neck to curve, but I don't want her neck to be like a vase. So we're gonna break, 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 and you don't know how to do this. You're always like, oops. This. And then like that. But we don't want her neck to look like that, because you don't want the break to be that thing, because she's not muscular or working out based on what I'm seeing here. So she's very small. So I'm gonna break a break here, and then we're going to see how much better that looks. Because remember, she's not muscular. I don't think she is based on what I'm seeing. She just has very strong features. So like, we want to keep this consistent. So I can get away doing this for right now because I'm just trying to save time. The eyes are going to probably look a little weird and derpy because when you flip it, it tends to look weird. Most cases, but we'll see if we can get away with it. And I know we're not looking, it's not going to look exactly like the character. Whoa. Have I been off the stream the entire, like, have I been off with sound this entire time? Nicholas? This whole time you've been on 0? You don't hear me?
It's not about where you work out. It's about how you recover after. Bringing your best to every workout is your goal, and helping you recover is ours. Fuel your goals and recover with Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard 100% whey, the world's best-selling whey protein powder. Recover with the gold standard of whey protein powder.
You know that sound. The sound of an empty ice dispenser. Make sure you're prepared for the holiday season with help from Lowe's and Bosch. Check out the Bosch French door refrigerator with Quick Ice Pro system. It makes up to 12 pounds of ice, so you can have more ice when you need it. Upgrade your kitchen today.
For a while now. Okay, what the hell? That was weird.
Holiday season ahead. Every day is a great day to shop appliances at Lowe's.
Okay, at least it wasn't permanently the entire time. I can hear. Okay, how can you draw here? Well, if you draw here, you need to have a point of reference. Let me put the hair like this. If you have a point of reference, you can actually get away with it. Hold on, I'll jump that in a second. Well, it's not perfect to the character, to the person that we're drawing here, but it's close enough in the sense. Oh, and then she has these, she has strong features here that goes towards the chin itself. So wait, that's also a thing here. So that's gonna be a problem. Actually, over here, look like she's gritting her teeth at us. Okay. Now, her chin, this is, I've never dealt with something like this with the chin. Now, I'm gonna have some hard time with this because this is something I need to practice and understand. Because I always never try to draw women with chins like this because it's always so frustrating to deal with. Like, I'm making her look old as I'm going. That's the problem. This is something that has to do with shading, if anything. And you have to do it right. That goes alongside the body itself. Go on. Yeah, it was just loading. Okay, there we go. This is gonna be a different one because it's, the problem is that the focus on the chin itself, this is something, especially on the angle I'm going with, I think I put more emphasis on the cheeks than I did with the whole thing, so oh, wait to you guys, I'm sorry about that. I remember you. Okay. So let me see if I can. So what I can do is try to maybe get away with this by I'm gonna have to make the cheeks so emphasized like this. But like, this is the frustrating part about doing this, is because the whole, let me see. It's mainly not even the cheekbones. Like, I think from this point on, if you cut this off from half, if you cut this off from here, like, if you cut it off from here, like literally if I were to, oops, if I were to, if I were to cut this off, it will look pretty close to what we're dealing with here. But because I'm not that very skilled when it comes to like this type of bone structure of the female anatomy, when it comes to these type of narrow chins, I tend to make them look older than they should. No, this is not Procreate. What pad is that? It's an XP Pen 21.5 monitor display. So like there's ways of getting around this, but then again, I'm not that close to it because I need to practice more of the understanding of the shading of the mouth, because she has a small mouth, that's fine, and we can identify that. The cheekbones are one of her defining features, but I think I emphasize it a little bit too much, and then the jawline tends to follow along. I think, no, what I can do is this. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. But we're more, I think we're in a better place than we was earlier when you're looking like a zombie. So I think we hit the mark in the sense, but then again we didn't hit it completely. So I will be honest with myself on that. We did to get the features. We have the cheekbones, the narrow mouth of the chin, and the neck, which is female, and then we got the hair right. I think we got pretty close to the hair. I emphasized a little bit of the hair a little bit too hard. The hair actually swoops. This part shouldn't be here. It should be a lot more narrow and smaller. But I made her look more older than she was, and probably much more sucked in. Can I see the reference? Yes, it's right here. So what happens is that what I was supposed to do was probably connect this part here and here. Remember, I'm not trying to make the same pose. That was not the point. The point was trying to, because he asked me about the whole, by the way, the person in the reference is actually, I don't know if this is, okay, for a while now, okay. I messaged you an example of the sum of the face. He said, okay, I remember. He said, I meant the face narrow but prominent chin and well inside the cheeks and the forehead. I have a question. If you were going to draw a character with a heart-shaped face, how would you go? So that's how I would just go by doing it. Then ultimately what I just did to give my process is, one, I did the whole luminous head thing. Then I made it a straight face because that made it more easier to deal with, because you don't have to worry about angles or know that much. The only thing I had to worry about is the defining features from that point, and if there was in proportion of each other. Well, in this particular angle, she's more tilted on this side than this side, okay? So it's not going to compute the same, but I didn't go down that route. I wanted to just show what you should look for a heart-shaped face person. So like, the cheekbones are pretty big on that. The narrow chin, this is something that has to do with shading and just 3 dimensions of understanding depth. And then after that, the hair is pretty much the easiest part, because you just pretty much have the chunks. Because if you draw your hair in chunks, which, answering your question over there, someone asked me about hair. It's on their Insta. Okay. Crazy asked me that. Okay. How do you draw guys with hair with kind of anime style? Well, if we're going down the route of anime for males, this is not difficult, I think, compared to women, because with women, we tend to draw our female anime girls with long hair and flowing hair. So I always would look at reference. So like, when it comes to anime, let me see if I can pull out a reference real quick. Okay, let me see. I'm getting a reference, so that's why I'm just taking more time. Like, if you have to look for like any male hair, it's pretty much works the same as a female hair. It just depends on how their hair is structured. So like, for instance, I'm gonna use the most exaggerated person on the planet is Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a person with a hair that is insane, but then again it works because the point of tension to Yugi's head goes all the way to the scalp. Like, so How can I use example? So like for instance, Yugi's hair is like, let's just say like this. I'm just using exaggeration. The hair is like this, right? Let's just say that. So the way to know the point of tension is the way the hair is structured. So everything's going like this. So the point of tension is coming from here, from Yugi's head, and then everything is like this. I'm just using an example, trying to draw the hair and just being all that detailed in it. Yugi's hair is like that because everything's coming from the literal center of his head. Believe it or not. Even when the hair is crooked like this, it has a point of tension. So the point of tension is coming from here. The root is coming from right there in the middle of his head. So that's why it works, because everything is coming from that point. Even from the sides, it still comes back to this tension point. How do you draw, guys? Okay, guys, give me 2 seconds. I need to hit the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. I won't take long. It'll take me like 30 seconds. I'll be right back. Oops. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. I'm gonna be right back. Hold on. Nothing, I'm right back. I'm in the bathroom. Oh, there we go. Alright guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Damn it, there's no more chips! Okay. Turn it this way. And then I can slide it right in here. Oops. Okay, sorry about that. I just had to go and deal with that. Okay, so there. Oops. There we go. So let me see. How do you draw, guys? Here. So like, where's my pen? We got about 40 minutes left, so I'm gonna try and milk this as fast as I can. So when it comes to hair, everything has a point of tension. So instead of me drawing a head and all that crap, I'm gonna use my dummies. I'm gonna use some of my dummies. So no. I'm gonna use one of my dummies. So my dummies here can help you with this. So like from here, the hair. Let me see if I can. Are they all like this?
Visit Lowe's.com/install to learn more about our installation services today. Lowe's,
Okay, you know what? Better yet, I'm going to bring down the opacity on them so you guys don't have to worry about seeing them and all that stuff. So I'll just bring down the opacity on them. So like, we have the head of tension. Let's just say it comes from here, right? Now, what does that mean? So, it just means where all the hair is coming from, or running away from, or going to. Which way you look at it is still the same. So like, if the hair was coming like this, say you're making an anime guy, and his hair was coming from here, what's going to happen is that everything's going to try to come from that tension point. So like, let's say like this, like this, like this. Okay. Everything's going to try to get back to this tension point. So if his hair was coming like this, it would make sense because it's coming from this point of, let's just say it's coming from there. It's kind of ridiculous, but like, it's coming from that point of tension because everything's coming back to here as much as it can, as much as it's trying to. Okay? For males, it's all the same, females as well, so there's no real difference other than just how you want it to look. All you need to do is abide by the rules of 1, where's the point coming from, and then 2, make sure it's not too insane to the point that you're not paying attention to, like, let's just say the hairline or whatever the case may be. Because if you don't, then you're going to just draw hair on top of the head and then everything's going to look kind of weird. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. Or like, let me use a different example. Like, let's just say we drew a dude, right? And instead of having spiky hair, he has, say, curly hair. So like, if his hair is here, if the point of tension is coming from here, what's going to happen is everything from that point is going to come from here. I'm being very exaggerated with it right now. Because everything has to come back from here. So like, what I'm saying is here, and then you don't have to just draw every little strand. You can kind of get around doing it like in chunks in this sense. Because everything's coming back to this tension point. That's how you don't get lost in, oh, that looks weird. That's why you don't get lost on the fact that when you're doing the drawing, or whatever the case may be, it doesn't, because I know some students do this thing where they try to draw it and then it looks like this. It's just a bunch of spikes going everywhere and they just feel like a sense of not unity. And it's probably really frustrating because they look at all their favorite anime shows and they like look at their characters and be wondering how can their hair look insane but still look like it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It's really easy to fall into that trap. If you don't know what you're doing. So like, you can get away with it if you understand how it works. Because remember, hair is not, when you're drawing hair, you're not supposed to draw every strand. You're supposed to draw it in chunks. Or so. Okay, so I'm gonna take this away. Let me see if I can check my phone for some examples. Now okay. Now let's just say this was a girl, this one right here. Let's use this again. Let's say we want to give her pigtails. So we know that the pigtail, well, if let's say a character has pigtails, there's 2 points of tension now because it's coming from here and here, right? So it's coming from these 2 points of tension. What's going to happen, the hair is going to fall down accordingly because and since there's hair in front, You gotta be aware of that too. But there's and also there's a rule of thirds here. So there's the bangs, which is the front, the side bangs or side hair, and then the back hair in the back there. You should split them in pieces, so like, or even in layers, so it makes it easier to deal with. So you don't, and if you make a mistake, you don't have to erase the whole thing. So like, say for instance, you made a drawing, and your drawing has, your character has like bangs like this, right? Let's just say like that, right? Right? Now you do the next thing is the side bang, so you make another layer depending on how they're drawn. And then the back hair will be like that, or not like that. I'll put it like, you don't want the hair to be so close to the scalp, you don't want that. Okay? And then you put the ponytails the way you want, if you know what you're doing. So like the ponytails should be more upwards because they're being pulled. But yet, situations like this, you don't have hair hauling like this with ponytails. What happens is that the hair will have like, let me say, like being pulled. So everything has a tangent point like this. So if the hair was like this, it's gonna be more of like, say like Sailor Moon-ish, if that makes sense. This is the most manliest ponytailed person I've ever drawn. So like this. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's how you make sense of all of this. Oh, and the hair's in the front, so like, if the hair's in the front like this, you won't be able to see this other half because the hair's in the way. If that makes sense. Any questions? Does anyone have any questions that you're confused about? Oh yeah, and try not to have the hair so close to the scalp. You should have like a literal space between, like about 1.5 inches. So it feels like there's breathing between the scalp and the hair, not like it's matted on the head like this. Like it's all matted down and it feels strange. Yeah, you guys might know what I'm talking about. It feels all matted down and it doesn't feel right. No, you're supposed to have at least some space in that sense, so it feels like it's breathing when you're doing your drawings or whatever the case may be. What is the strategy called for drawing heads or a body? Wait, what is the strategy called? You mean the Luminous head? The Luminous method for the head? Or drawing heads or a body? And if you're talking about the body, I think you're referring to the skeleton or the line of action, if that's what you're referring to. Like when you make a head, like the face, and stuff like that, and then you bring the line of action like this, and then you kind of make sense of everything from this point, depending on what you're trying to do. I'm not looking at reference, I'm just literally just going with this. Okay. Like, I'm not doing this perfectly, but I'm just saying. Like, give me an example. Come on, stop loading. Okay, so like, for instance, I'm using some reference right now, so like women, depending on who you ask, Okay, that looks insane. Look like a giant diaper. I'm sorry. That looked weird. That looked so strange. It's not even funny. Okay. What about clothes? There's the only methods for clothing is like you have to understand. Clothing is not under clothing. You have to understand. Fabric. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. No, there's no said way of doing this, but it's fabric. You understand weight, looseness, tightness. When I say fabric, I'm talking about the type of fabric, like type of fabric. That does make a difference. Its looseness, its tightness, its weight, thickness / thinness. So what does this mean? So like, let's just say you had a leather jacket. The 9 times out of 10, a leather jacket is heavy, right? And because it's heavy, it can be loose, but yet is usually tight. And because it's leather, it's usually thick. It's very rare if it's ever thin. So you already know what you're dealing with. One is the fabric because it is leather, and then it's heavy. And because it's heavy, it's usually tight most cases. Sometimes it can be loose, but like heavy. So what happens is with the thickness, it ends up folding more often. It folds more often. It doesn't wrinkle. It wrinkles, but it doesn't wrinkle like that. It just folds in bunches. It folds / bunches. I guess you can put it. So like there's something called lock folds, I think. Zigzag folds. Zigzag folds look like this. Like for instance, if I were to make a jacket shirt, like an arm right now, it'll be like this. So like it'll zigzag its way through and through. That's something it would do. It will zigzag its way through. I'm doing this very lightly, so like, or it will sometimes either bunch up, like it will, so it bunches, but it doesn't bunch as much. Sometimes it'll have gaps within itself, but it usually zigzags throughout its time because it's leather, and leather is usually seen as very heavy, so it folds a lot. So like a jacket, for instance, would leather jacket or even a basic jacket does not wrinkle. It folds a lot. Like it folds a lot. Do you upload your lives onto your... Yes, it's on YouTube. I'm streaming this to YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, and Instagram all at once. As we speak, I'm right now on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook... I'm on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and TikTok all at once, live streaming all of this. So I'm always on all 4 platforms when I stream. Yeah, no problem. So yeah, so like, so if you really want to see more of this, if you want this to last free as much as possible, the best way is to follow the Instagram, and follow the YouTube, especially the YouTube, because we're trying to get to 1,000. We're at 700, 500, so I'm trying my damnness to get to there. We need to get to 1,000. It's very important we get there, so I can have more leeway on how I can do stuff, so I can make more interesting content for you guys to learn and or be entertained, because I like to do animation, so that'll be alongside that. So let's hopefully we'll get to that point one day. But thank you, I thank you for asking. And those of you who are, oh, I still have this up here. Those of you who are new or walking in or like what I do or been very impressed of what I'm doing, if you like what you see, if you want to support other than follow the YouTube, you can get the course here. It is 3 hours long. There's 5 videos in the 3-hour long course. It teaches you about anatomy and the factors that you should look for. So on the thumbnail you see this is what you're gonna draw all the way to this point. I give you all the factors. Oh, I usually didn't mention the 6th factor, which it will be much of a bonus, I think. It's called composition. That's something you should learn. But it gives you the 5 factors, the same one I keep mentioning to you guys all the time. So like, you know, it's something important that you guys should know first. That's why we're not getting into drawing hair and clothing and stuff in this course. That's why I need you guys to either purchase, you can rent it, you don't have to pay the full $60, you can rent it for $15 for 30 days. If you think it's worth your time, I think that's perfectly fine and reasonable. If you want the video all to yourself and watch it as many times as you want, as long as you want, you can pay the $60, but if you don't want to pay the full $60, you can use my code. It's Ultra. For those of you who want to take $10 off, it'll be $50, and that $50, well, you know, it'll be $50 off. I mean, it'll be $10 off. It'll be $50. So if you want $10 off, you don't want to pay the full $60 if you don't think it's worthy of that time, of that price tag. So you can always jump to the rent version if you want to try that, but that's up to you if you want to try out the course. But I recommend looking at it because I go in full deep dive on each of them, and I keep constantly talking and getting to the point. So don't think that this is some type of YouTube video. It's quite long for 3 hours, but it's 5 videos on each subject, building off to the next thing. So that's something you should watch. It's been so much fun. I have lots of you really helped me in this amount of time. No problem. It's what I do. I'm glad that you guys enjoy it. But yeah, ultimately, to answer anyone's question about clothing, back to the question at hand, there's pipe folds, there's zigzag folds, there are lock folds. So zigzag folds, like I said, is like a zigzag, but it's not as what you expect. It's not a zigzag to the point that it's predictable. It is a zigzag to the point that you know you can at least zigzag through them, but it's usually very random, but random with sense. Now you must ask this question, okay, I understand where you're coming from with these different folds and stuff, like pipe folds. If you don't know what pipe folds is, think of like a circle like this. Like think of a curtain. Like think of curtains, or like a bunched up like a piece of paper or something, or like a towel. So like if I had a towel, if I had a towel like this, right, and the towel was like this, what's happening is that the pipe folds are like circular, and it's nonsense like this, and it goes back to the tension point here. You know, they give it like this. Oops. Oops. I never like doing this because it's always so annoying. So like here and here. So like it's always those type of circles where, I mean, pipe folds like this. So let me just get more room. Maybe that's why I'm having a trouble, because like it's not enough room. So like the pipe folds, if I can do like this, if that makes it easier, like this, it makes a pipe. Like think about like a circle, like I made a literal pipe, like something like this, and I put something on top of it like this, and then I just erase the inside of this. Like that. And then what's going to happen, I'm going to connect this the way it is, like that. Okay. Just like that. So like in that sense, and then you can make sense of it by putting tension lines and stuff like a towel or something, but that's not important. The point is that pipe folds are usually the pipe looking folds that you see in curtains and skirts. Okay? Or like the next thing you can do is lock folds. Is really a weird one. Lock folds kind of like lock in a sense. It's a weird thing I don't really like drawing because it's very odd depending on who you ask and who's drawing it. It's like a bunch of wrinkles that kind of intersect into each other, almost like a zigzag, but yet more chunkier in that sense. It's a weird thing. There's spiral folds, but I forgot how that works. It's been a while since I actually did those. But like the ones that you're going to be probably running into is wrinkles, zigzags, lock folds, and pipe folds most cases, especially if you're doing anime. Now you must ask, how do I know where to put the wrinkles? So there's a method of doing this. To know where to put wrinkles, let's just say like okay, say like for instance, this person's wearing a sweater, right? So the sweater is like this, or like this, right? Like say like a Steve Jobs sweater, right? How would I know where to put the wrinkles? So the best way to put the wrinkles is the cup method. So what happens is the cylinder method is when you make a cylinder out of the thing that you're trying to make wrinkles out of. So like the area where the wrinkles are going to be, or at least be located in that section. So you make a circle, oops, like this, right? And what happens is the top area that you see first, or the bottom area that seems first, that's closest to your hand, will be the direction you'll be going. So like for instance, I see the top of this cylinder in the side of the neck. So the chances that, so where I'm gonna go is go the opposite. So it's at the top, I'm going down the bottom. So it's going to wrinkle towards the bottom. So I'm not going at top to wrinkle. I'm gonna try my best to wrinkle from top to bottom. So I'm going downwards, because I can see it from topwards. It's not gonna wrinkle towards up, it's gonna wrinkle towards down. So if I see, let's use another example. If I were to, say, make a circle in here, and a circle in here, the side I'll see first, if I was on, like from the angle, it's here. Actually, better yet, to be honest with you, the angle on how this is drawn, it feels quite neutral, because if it's neutral, it's kind of compressed, meaning that there's no real need of wrinkling. You can put a wrinkle, but you don't have to put a wrinkle. That makes sense, right? So this is going to be just a basic sweater like this, and like like that. That's it. There's no need for actual wrinkle if you don't want to. You can choose to put a wrinkle if you want, but it's not needed. But when you're at an angle, that's when it wrinkles. So like for instance, if I made another circle here alongside the contour of this neck, which is important, it has to go with the contour of the body. That goes with the neck, the body, the head, the anything. Or depending on the clothing itself. If it's a hat, you don't need to do this because the hat's usually stiff. Most cases. It indents, but it never really wrinkles. So like, since we can see the top of this angle because he's going like this, it's gonna wrinkle towards the bottom again because we can see the top. Now if we were to see the bottom, let's just say if I were to make a cylinder, right, and I see the bottom of it, that means it's gonna wrinkle towards the top. So it's always opposite of the direction it's going. So if you can see the side that is the most closest to your hand and your eye, that makes sense. It goes the opposite direction. That makes sense. So I hope that is helpful in any way, if possible. I'm pretty sure that's confusing for most of you who are just hearing this for the very first time. It is something that you should learn. It is something that is possible to learn. I've learned it from, I think her name is Chloe, not Chloe Tings. Her name is, I think, Chloe Wong? I think. I learned that from her on YouTube. I didn't know, because she's a fashion illustrator, so she was giving her insight on that very thing. So let's, let me see, use example. I'll find a good one. Now look at this for example. This is an old picture I did a long time ago. Now, if this individual was wearing a shirt right now, and he was wearing a long sleeve shirt, let's just say long sleeve, what will happen is I'm going to make a circle. Oh, I'm going to make this right. I'm going to make a circle with. I'm going to make this into a circle into the contour of this arm. And now, as we can see it, we can only see the inside of the top here. So from this point on, everything from this point will wrinkle towards the side that we can't see. So it's going to wrinkle towards him like this. So we know the direction it's going. So like I said, cylinder, one straight down, and then we know exactly where it's coming. So let's look at the leg, for instance. And remember, this is old, so this wrinkling doesn't make any sense. The way it looks probably doesn't, because I didn't fix it, because this was before I even understand clothing myself. So this is something super old I didn't touch in a long time, but I'm just showing you guys an example. So it's like this because we went with the contour of the leg. Oh my gosh, I need an anatomy tutorial bad. I just learned the head anatomy pretty well from YouTube vids. Now I want to learn the body anatomy. That's good. So you can check out my videos there, or you can check out my 5 factors to anatomy on how to draw if you want to use that. $15 to rent, $60 to buy fully, but if you don't want to pay the full $60, you can use my code to take $10 off, only for the first 100 people, and then it's gone. It won't be $50 anymore, so there you go. Alright, so, okay, so the angle from here, and if you don't know where to find it, you go to my link tree on TikTok or Instagram, and you can go here. It says Our Texas Gumroad. You click it, and it sends you straight there. And then you can either purchase it or buy it and use my and the code is Ultra. Literally Ultra. That's the code if you guys want it. But it's only for the first 100 people, and it will not be that way again. So if you want to get it now, yes, it's a 3-hour course. It's a 3-hour course with 5 videos. I think each of them is pretty much an hour each, but like, not hour each, but they all consist to up to 3 hours. So like, some are a little longer than others, but it is what it is. So it is 3 hours long in the course, and I explain how it works. We even use reference in the video. So, you know, if you want to get it, you can. You just go to my link tree on the bio on my TikTok and or Instagram, and you can get your hands on it there. Now, when you see the side of where the cylinder is, that will indicate the direction of where the direction will be going towards the individual. But then again, you must wonder, what about the knee? Now, if I drew the knee alongside this, it will change, because now it will go this way because of the angle, because it's not going to just go with the angle only by itself. What happened? What happened, Liv? It's not going to go that way. Tell me, Liv. And it's not going to go just down that direction. Once it gets to a knee and to a certain perspective, it's going to change towards this way. So it's going to be wrinkling from this point, from the knee. Once you get to the knee part here, it's going to wrinkle towards downwards, because it makes sense of gravity. So that's how it works. That's how you know how to wrinkle your clothing. So you make a circle, circle, line, line. Now I can see this, if this was real, if I were to erase the thing here, I will be seeing this side. So since I'll be seeing this side, it'll be wrinkling this way. It always goes the opposite direction, so anytime it goes that way, it goes that way. So that makes sense. So like for instance, if he was wearing a shirt right now, and I were to use a cylinder, well, let me see. If I were to cylinder this right now. Virtual visits are just one of the ways United Healthcare helps connect you to better health. Now, what would happen here is that because it's so neutral in the sense of how I guess how I drew it back then, it will wrinkle here. It will wrinkle because his whole back is being pushed. This will wrinkle and this will stretch and thing. I was mistaken for a boy again. Are you serious? Well, that's sad. I'm sorry. Same place? Same guy? That's amazing. But anyway, guys, if you enjoy what I do and you want to support, please, there's 2 or 3 ways you can. Follow the Instagram, follow the YouTube, or if you want to really support in another way, you can get my anatomy course for 3 hours straight. It's 5 videos in the tutorial explaining and understanding the facts of the 5 factors you need to learn, and I go in full depth on those 5 factors about the anatomy, and what to look for when drawing your sketches, your sketches, your gestures, your forms, your everything, till we get to this point, so you guys can have a constructed dummy so you can use to make your characters or so. So that's something you guys can really sink your teeth into. If you don't want to pay the full $60 or even want to use the discount code, you can always rent it for $15 for 30 days for 72 hours and all that great stuff. So if it seems like something that will help you in your fantasy, please try it out. If not, that's fine. If you do try it and you did not like it, let me know. I will love to know what you hate about it, what you liked about it. Was it too slow? Was it too fast? Was it not enough information? Which I think I knocked in a lot of information, that shit, as much as possible I could, without totally boring myself at doing it, but I did it. Anytime I wear a hoodie, I'm mistaken for a boy. Well, that makes sense. Now that must be one big hoodie. Anyway, but if you guys like what you see, please follow the YouTube. I would really appreciate if you guys did follow that, or follow my Instagram, because I post there. I'll be posting again on probably Thursday or so. Again, I'll be posting this on Instagram as well. So I hope you guys had fun. This was a lot of fun. We are right at, it's 9:59, so we're gonna finish this off. If you like what you see, like I said, and if you want to know the items I use, please go to my Instagram. All the list of stuff I have is in this particular this one right here. This one right here, I'm waving at. It's on all my equipment's in here, or recommended equipment. Patreon, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube. Please join the YouTube because we're trying to get to 1,000. We're almost close. We need 200 more people, and we'll be in the gold mine from that point. And we'll be making more content, and it'll be much easier to give you guys the information you need in the long run and stuff like that. I'll be making more courses for you guys to try and stuff like that. So anytime I wear a hoodie, both times I wore a hoodie, not anytime I misspoke. Oh snap. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, hon. I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, well, maybe hoodies is not for you, probably. That must probably suck. But, okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. Join the YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, and all that great stuff. So, I think today was a good class. Thank you for asking a lot of beautiful questions. You guys have been nothing but an amazing Annabelle. Oh, now I need to change your name to Annabelle. You guys have been nothing but an amazing class and asking your beautiful questions and being kind and respectful. I do enjoy this. I love doing this. I'll see you guys on probably Thursday. No, it's okay. I love my hoodies, but plus it was a honest mistake. Okay, I got it. All right, I hear you. I hear you, Liv. I'm gonna talk to you on Instagram after this. So, have a great night, everybody. You're an amazing teacher. Thank you, Mish. Oh, thank you so much, Liv. Oh, thank you. So have a great night, everyone. Keep safe. I'll see you guys on Thursday. We'll be doing a fan art work on Thursday. I'm gonna do a fan art again, and hopefully that will be even better than the last one we did. And then Saturday, I might be open on Saturday. I'm still trying to figure out Saturdays out, but I'll be on Saturday at 12 to 4, early than my usual time. And we'll be continuing our character design study, because I'll be talking about character design specifically. I won't be talking about anatomy. And I won't be talking about anatomy like that on Thursday. We're going to be having fun doing fan art. Or if I don't do a fan art, I'm going to do a draw this in your own style. I think that'll be better. So have a great night, guys. I'll see you on Thursday. Keep safe and all that great stuff. Thank you, Liv, for coming in. I do appreciate you, hon. You are amazing. You're all amazing. Keep safe. Bye-bye, guys. Have a great night. And I'll see you guys on Thursday.